Come on, work. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It is Sunday Night Live. Live comments are working. I've got Ross with me. If you're joining for the watch along, you need to go an hour and a half in because that'll be kickoff time, or half an hour in because that'll be team news time. If you're live with us right now, this is Sunday Night Live, normal time 8:30, but we've got Manchester United playing Real Madrid. That kicks off at 10 p.m. We'll have the team news for you in half an hour at 9 p.m. But we're going to go right the way through Sunday Night Live into the watch along till about just after midnight. So if Carlsberg did Sunday nights, this would be it. Watch along, then into a... No, Sunday Night Live, then into a watch along. So welcome to the show, Ross.
Hi Mark, it's been a while.
It does seem to have been a bit of a while. Lots and lots going on. But we're not going to talk about Real Madrid United just yet because it is Sunday Night Live. So we'd like to be a bit topical, and that's still an hour and a half off. So let's start off with something that, you know, to be fair, I said to you when I messaged you to come on, David De Gea staying at Manchester United. I think you guessed it by look, to be honest. But you have always said that you thought he would stay.
Yeah, and obviously there's always, you've got a 50-50 chance of getting it right in a situation like that, and yeah, you could say that I did luck into it, but the call that I made, which is completely come true, is that I couldn't see any business happening between Real Madrid and United this summer, because it was apparent last season and even the season before that, you know, the boards don't get on. Perez and Woodward don't get on. They don't negotiate well. Things have happened in the past, and I just couldn't see like a smooth negotiation ever happening, which is why I found it really strange when we got linked with signing about 3 Real Madrid players, and none of them happened. De Gea hasn't happened, and I think that's kind of bridges burnt between the two clubs indefinitely now.
Yeah, Dylan just said, will you discuss the Herrera thing? There's something I need to talk about Herrera, which we will talk about before 9 o'clock, that I couldn't talk about last night because we had the Eric Dyer thing. So people keep reminding me, so I will come back to that. But sticking with the De Gea thing first of all, it is slightly intriguing if you know, Mourinho, if he's not consistent. And he has always said that if a player wants to leave, he won't shut the door on that. And the reason I said you were a little bit lucky, you were right though, is the fact that what Mourinho actually said in his interview was quite interesting, in the fact that he said that you know, the door was opened to De Gea leaving to go to Real Madrid, sort of hinting that, you know, I don't hold it against De Gea. I don't know what you think. I don't hold it against him that he wants to go back to Madrid. He's Spanish, that's where he wants to go. I don't think it's really about wanting to play for Real Madrid. I think he wants to just go to Spain, and obviously you want to play for one of the best clubs in Spain. So that door was opened, and Mourinho basically said that Madrid didn't invite him in again. And he also hinted that De Gea is, you know, pretty much closing the door now to Madrid because they've messed him around twice.
Yeah, exactly, which is great, and I think De Gea, like you just said, he's done it in exactly the right way. The first time that he tried to leave, I thought that he tried to force his way out of the club, but this time, like you said, you know, he hasn't forced his way out of United. Yeah, he probably did want to go, but the fact that the move didn't happen, he seems happy to stay, and that's kind of the perfect scenario, really. And because the fans are not going to turn against you, and the fact that we have still got what I believe the best keeper in the world, and next season, the best keeper in the league is such an asset. It's a signing in itself for me, because to go into next season with Romero, as much as everyone loves him, I just think that would have been a bit of a shaky, back four with him behind him.
I'll just tell you what, I've actually got MUTV on because that's where I'll be watching the watch along at 10, so that's at live. But we actually beat Real Madrid 2 years ago under Van Gaal. And I'm just looking at some of the players that were playing for United. Phil Jones and Johnny Evans at centre-back. Michael Keane was playing at right-back. Darren Fletcher in the midfield. Danny Welbeck, Ashley Young. Not a fantastic United side. And we beat Real Madrid. It's just... Ashley Young's just scored. It's just a reminder that how pre-season games mean next to nothing. 2 years ago, we battered them, and we started that season. It was the same. The reason I mention it, Ross, is because that was the season where De Gea tried to force the move. We started this, you know, we had a really good US tour, and everyone was like, "Oh, we're going to be brilliant." But I don't think anybody really looked at the clientele we were beating Real Madrid with. And we went into that season, De Gea didn't play. We went to Swansea. Romero made 2 mistakes. We had a bad start to the season. So the fact that we've beaten Manchester City, and the fact that I think we'll beat Real Madrid tonight, really does need to be taken with a real big pinch of salt. Because I don't know what the situation was 2 years ago, but just because we beat Real Madrid tonight, this is their first pre-season game. It's our fourth. We've both played football. There's a big difference in pre-season when you've not started playing.
Yeah, massively. There's a big difference between Premier League clubs and other clubs around Europe as well. Most Premier League clubs tend to be more developed in their pre-season than the European clubs. They tend to be a few weeks behind, which makes a real big difference. And yeah, we always steamroller teams in pre-season. The bigger test is when we actually play teams from the Premier League, like Manchester City. But I think that just showed that we were further along in our development. I don't think that result really mattered too much, and that's just all it means, really. Pre-season, what teams developed more in that time. But you'd hope that every team come, August the 18th, whenever it is, are ready then. And that's, like you say, you can have a wicked pre-season and go stuff out Swansea at the first game. So it really does mean nothing. The only players it means to are the players that are, desperate and fighting, and that's the Herreras. So they're the only ones that I look at and hope that they have good pre-seasons.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about that when the team news comes in about 20 minutes' time. But I do think we'll win, but we'll talk more about that in 20 minutes. How long till kick-off? A few people asking about that. So it's a 10 p.m. kick-off. You've got Sunday Night Live, and then we'll start talking about the match when the team news comes in at 9 o'clock. So we're talking about De Gea there. I've had a few people saying he's not like a new signing. I think he is. I mean, the positive is Mourinho's guaranteed that he's staying now. Mourinho's basically blown his reputation if he doesn't stay. He is going to stay. And as much as I think you could replace De Gea, you can replace a goalkeeper easier than you can replace someone like Ronaldo. Having, for me, the best goalkeeper in the world is a big bonus for us this summer.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. And you can say that he's not a new signing, but when you come to terms with the fact that you'd have to go into the market and try and sign another keeper, and they're few and far between nowadays. You're only looking at 2 or 3. I think the guy that Man City have brought is just another Claudio Bravo. So you're looking at the Atletico Madrid keeper, and that's it, Oblak. So he's impossible to replace for me. So the fact that you haven't got to do that, and with the way United are negotiating transfers at the minute, which is pretty poor, it's just another thing that we haven't got to do. So yeah, I'd go along with that. Just as good as another signing for me.
Good to see Beck back on the comment section. She's been off for a bit, and United in the Stands is on as well tonight. That's good. Everybody get involved. It's a nice end to the weekend for us all. We're going to be live all the way through till midnight watching United play Real Madrid. I'm all for it. Really, really good. Let's talk about Verratti. Mohet's just mentioned it there. I saw a tweet off the United Stand account today, which wasn't me, saying that something along the lines of, we want Perisic, but they asked for Martial. We want Verratti, but they asked for Martial. There's a bit of a theme there. Basically, a lot of people see that Martial's a good player. It's a shame that some of our fans don't.
Yeah, it's I don't know what fans they are, to be honest, that are saying that to get rid of Martial. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, because all of them players that you're mentioning, still think Martial's got a higher ceiling than all of them. He might not be there yet. I think he's better than Perisic at the minute. I really do. But maybe not Verratti, but his ceiling's higher. And I think that he could go on to do wonders. He's had one bad season that wasn't even a bad season. It was just bad compared to the incredibly high standards he set in his first season. So, he had a difficult second season, but it's the third season where I want to see him kick on. And if he doesn't get that opportunity, it'll be absolutely devastating, because all we want to see is him given that opportunity.
Byron Williams says, I think we'll get 2 more players. Also, Mkhitaryan will be better. The youngsters more developed. Martial will be better. Rashford will be better. I don't think we need a massive overhaul that many pundits think that we do. I mean, Verratti's basically linked to us just because he's got his agent's now Mini Raiola, isn't he? That's basically what that's about. I don't think we're in for Verratti, because I think Mourinho had a list back in April that he keeps going on about, and Verratti wouldn't have been available there. So that's the biggest obvious thing for me, that we're not in for Verratti. I've been quite consistent. I'm not happy about it, but I do think it'll be Matic and Perisic. I don't know. We have not spoken for a couple of weeks, Ross, so I don't know where you are at with. We've obviously had Mourinho saying that he'd like 4. He may have to settle for 3. You've got City, I think, are up to 5 or 6 now, having no problems at all. And I think United fans are finding it hard to... maybe it's clever by Mourinho, to be honest. I think he knows United fans are clever, and he's saying these sort of things to take the pressure off himself. But I don't think many United fans are buying this nonsense that it's a challenging market. It's a challenging market because United are penny pinching, I think.
Yeah, I think Perisic might still happen. I really don't think Matic is going to come. I just don't think that Chelsea and United, a bit like Madrid, are going to want to do business with each other this summer. So, but yeah, I'm kind of with that comment. I didn't see who it was from, but I'm not so worried. I quite like the team at the minute, but again, it's how Jose uses them. Because I think if we just given what we've got now, if we go into next season and we're still playing Ashley Youngs and players like that, it will get infuriating. But I think if Jose does go, full gamble on it and starts playing Herrera and Fosu Mensah, I think it'd be fantastic. And I think you leave yourself open to less criticism, because the guy that really needs to be in the firing line come the start of the season is Pep. Because, yeah, he signed 5 or 6 players, but I thought this was the guy that was supposed to be the greatest coach in the world at developing young players, because all he's doing is buying the league as far as I'm concerned, and I don't think he's doing a great job because the defence looks shocking. So I'm interested to see what we do. But I am calm as opposed to if we didn't sign anyone. And to be honest, I know people rate him, and I'll back him if he comes, but I'm not that overly keen on Perisic, to be honest, because I rate a lot of the talent that we have, and I don't think he massively improves us.
I'm just sorting Marcus out with his moderator thing because he'd lost it. But yeah, I'd agree. I think that the Pep Guardiola thing's interesting. I'm glad you brought it up because I wouldn't have mentioned it, but it is something that I think if United, it just makes me laugh. If United had spent the money that he's spent over the last 2 years, you wouldn't be able to move on Sky Sports for the charts and everything about it, even though Manchester United are the only club in the top who really generate their own income and can afford to buy Neymar and still have loads of money left. But we won't do it because we've got greedy owners. But City, all oil money, spending money like you say, just totally buying the title, and it hardly ever gets mentioned. But the reality is, I think if you are Jose Mourinho, you've got to be looking, at Pep Guardiola, somebody he doesn't like, and realise that he has got one arm tied behind his back, because Mourinho would be aware, like most Manchester United fans are aware, that we have got a lot of issues in the squad, and he would like to change things in that. But if he's only about, if he's struggling to get 3 signings in, he's got one arm behind his back, but then he's looking at the Etihad and they're spending 125 million on fullbacks.
Yeah, the fullback, the whole back line is a joke. Their squad looks good, but the back line looks poor, and that's you're right with that. He must be looking at Pep signing all his players and he'd be jealous. But at the same time, if I was Jose and I knew that we don't have the war chest that City have, we probably have the finances, but again, we're not allowed to spend it because we've got greedy owners. But I'd be looking at that and going, how can I get one over on this guy when he's literally buying the league? And that would be to blood these young players through. I think he could, if he finishes above City next year, he will finish above City doing what Pep is supposedly famous for. I don't think he is, but supposedly what Pep's famous for, because Jose gets a lot of stick about buying league titles, but he never has the money that most of his rivals have doing this. So he's quite fantastic with what he does. I think if he brings through Fosu Mensah, Herrera, see Angel Gomez 5-6 times, even if it's that few, and we finish above City, for me, Pep's finished, because that would be embarrassing given the amount of money he's spent and the players that he's bought.
I mean, Pep was talking about that young lad who played for them the other night. I think it was Fogan or something like that. I don't know. He's a City player. I don't need to know his name. But, he was very small, but he looked okay. If he was a United young lad, we'd all be going on about it and we'd be demanding he plays, and you can guarantee he would get a chance even under Mourinho. He will probably never play for Manchester City again. Pep Guardiola, for all his pretty football and everything like that, I stand by what I've said ever since he came last summer. Pep Fraudiola, take Messi away from him, and he'd be lucky to be managing a Spanish second division side. I don't think he's all that. And as Ross says, I think if we finish above them this season, he'll get the sack, and rightly so. How much money he's had to spend. I mean, he won the league at Bayern Munich. I'd win the league at Bayern Munich. That was a failure. He took over a team that had just won the Champions League, and he didn't win the Champions League in 2 years. He failed at Bayern Munich, but the press is so stuck up his backside. It's ridiculous. It's because of this myth about the way he plays football. I mean, I watched Man City a few times last season. I didn't see any great football. Barcelona were a fantastic side under him, but he had some of the best players. He had the best Barcelona team probably ever. He had some of the best players we'll ever see, with Iniesta and Xavi and Messi, just to name 3. So I don't rate him, and I think most managers would be very good if they had Messi in their team. It's the same as having Ronaldo. I don't necessarily think Zidane's such a good manager either. I think he's, you take over Real Madrid, fantastic footballer, but you take over Real Madrid with the players that he's got, then you're going to have to work very hard not to win the title. Derian Jones makes a contribution. Rashford can embarrass the best defence out there, says Derian Jones. We're going to talk about the Real Madrid game in about 12 minutes when the team news comes in. One thing I've got to speak about now is something I didn't get a chance to talk about last night, and I will never, ever not get a chance to talk about it because people keep mentioning it. Herrera, the Herrera thing. Well, I was meant to mention this conversation I'd had yesterday morning, Ross, with Draughty about, we were talking about a few things and we both got onto Herrera. It's not going to be a popular thing. Basically, and I'll always say what I think, and people have asked me to say it, so I'll say it, and I have said it before, so it's not a surprise for those who've watched the United stand. What I would say is that I really, really like Ander Herrera. I think he epitomises what we want in a Manchester United player. He wears his heart on the sleeve. Very, very intelligent player. What I have said is, and bear with me on this, is a Manchester United side that's going to win the Premier League and the Champions League, does Ander Herrera start? And I have said I'm not sure. Draughty said no. I said I'm not sure. I'm not sure just because he is he does get what Manchester United's about. But then Draughty said to me, all right then, well if he starts in your team, and I'm telling you can go and get anybody that's sort of available for United now, what would you do? And I said, well, my midfield 3 at the moment would be Fabinho, Verratti and Pogba, or Fabinho, Nainggolan and Pogba. And he said, well, there you go, you've answered your own question, where's Herrera? And I thought, you know what, yeah, I love Herrera, I'm more than happy for him to play for Manchester United, but maybe if we were going to be a Premier League winning side or a Champions League winning side, he'd be a bench player. And I know that's going to go down really unpopular, and it's probably unpopular with you, Ross, but Herrera's not going anywhere. Mourinho loves him, he's going to keep playing him, and rightly so. But if we had real aspirations about being the best in the world, I sort of understand where Draughty was coming from. And I think if I could sign any midfielders that are realistic, then I probably would like to see a midfield with a centre defensive midfielder who's a specialist, and then Pogba with someone like Verratti would be a joy to watch.
Yeah, I get it. I get where you're coming from, and it is something that gets bandied about quite a lot. But yeah, we don't live in an ideal world, and I could pick Man United teams out from the past, and I would say that, would we win a Champions League and a Premier League title with Owen Hargreaves in the team? Well, it was probably one of the most instrumental players in that team when we did it, but you wouldn't expect it. And to be honest, you could have probably picked 10 midfielders around the world to replace him in that team, but it just worked. And I think we get that with Herrera, but I agree that there's players that can improve that position better than him, but I just think that you do need that passion player. I know everyone calls him a passion merchant, but he is. But you need them passion players. I think that it's a game-by-game basis, and you're right in what you're saying. I think he's not Paul Pogba. Pogba plays regardless.
I think the best example I would use is, I sometimes play FIFA and do career mode as Manchester United, and I've got to be totally honest. It's nothing against him. I love him, and he will play. And I think people are there going, "Oh, you're chatting rubbish," and that and the other. This isn't going to happen. It's a hypothetical. I love Herrera, and I think like Ross says, it's rare to get players who understand what it's all about. So we're talking a dream scenario anyway. The reality is he has to play because he's one of the handful of players that we currently have who actually get what United's about. You can't buy that sort of opinion. But we're talking hypothetical. If you could have the midfield that you wanted, would you just go, well, we've already got Pogba and Herrera, I only need one more? Or would you go, actually, I will get a Verratti or a Nainggolan to play with Pogba, and I'll get a centre defensive midfielder as well. That's what I'm saying. It's a hypothetical. And to be honest, what I was going back to there, when I've played FIFA on United Career Mode, by the second season, Herrera is on my bench. He is. At the moment, I've got a midfield 3. Actually, I play a midfield 2 of Pogba and Renato Sanchez and Griezmann just ahead of them. So, you can be all moody and start going, "Oh, Mark, you're chatting rubbish" and everything like that. No one's a bigger fan of Herrera than me. 2 years ago, when Van Gaal wouldn't pick him, we had the Herrera in show every week. So I absolutely love him. But if we can't be grown up and have a hypothetical conversation, I didn't have to tell you that. I could have kept that totally to myself. But I will be honest with you about conversations I have about football. Herrera's going nowhere, but it's a hypothetical. And that's basically what I'm saying, Ross. If you've got that choice of, you can have any midfield 3 that you want, do you just go, well, we've already got Herrera and Pogba, so I just have a CDM? Or do you go, well, if Verratti's available or Nainggolan's available, actually, I would get them, and I would pop Herrera onto the bench or use him, sort of share the role.
Yeah, it's kind of the I don't want to sit on the fence too much, but it's kind of the impossible question, really, because you need for a midfield 3, you need 5 players that are competitive and all working for that. Which is, you're right. Probably he wouldn't get in my starting best 3, but again, it's game by game basis. But he will always be in our squad, and we need him so much because we haven't even got the third man yet. I know we got Fellaini, but we all do tend to just forget about him. So we're looking for that third midfielder, and I hope it's not Matic. I really do.
Anyway, team news is about to come in the next 5 minutes. We're working towards the watch-along over the next hour and intermingling some transfer stuff as well, because it is our Sunday night show. Remember to drop a like on the video. Remember to share the video. Let's get as many people watching this game tonight as possible. And just to get you in the mood a little bit, Bobby Simpson sent me this little bit of footage from the game against Man City. And if you want a little bit of glimpse of what it's like to watch a football match really close compared to what we watch on the TV, have a little bit of watch of this. Slightly ruined that footage by the fact, if anybody spotted it, that Marouane Fellaini was waiting to come on. But there you go. Have we got the live comments back? Yes, we have. It's a little bit slow tonight, but we'll get sorted. Ross, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm there, mate.
Good. Good bit of footage there. If anyone's in, I've had lots of pictures and stuff, but I've had a bit of problem with the email account that people have been sending it to. But thanks to that for Bobby. Nickolated Coley says the pace is frightening. I don't know whether you could see that, Ross, but the reason I wanted to put it up is that we watch games on the telly, and even if you're watching games live, you're sometimes quite far away. He was so close there; it was a real glimpse of why people are professional footballers. Even Jesse Lingard on the other side, that first little touch and the pass of the ball, you don't actually get to see. I would love to watch football at that level. I mean level, not just Manchester United playing, but that level where you're really, really close to it, because you really get to see what the players are about.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting, because I've never sat that close. And when you're up in the stands at a live game, I think it tends to look slower than it does on the TV, which is quite strange. But the ball tends to move quite slow, and it can be quite frustrating to watch. And you do tend to get this, well, I could do that kind of scenario down there. So I'd love to watch it that close, because, it did look fast-paced, and, it looked good.
We're literally only a few minutes away from the team news coming in now, so I'm just going to sort of start talking about United against Real Madrid tonight. I've already sort of alluded that I think we're going to win this game, Ross. Are you confident?
Yeah, I am. I think we'll win quite comfortably, and again, it's just due to how far along in our development of pre-season we are. We should be ahead of Real Madrid. Yeah,
I think we know that Mitchell's going to play, which I'm very happy about. He didn't mention Pereira, but I would expect Pereira to start. I'd be disappointed if he didn't, because he only played the last 20 minutes. Twansibi and Fosu Mensah and Darmian to start, and then De Gea and Romero to get a half each. So that's what we know. I would expect Carrick and Fellaini will start, because they didn't start in the game a couple of days ago. But I still, even with all that, for that reason you just said there, Ross, I think we'll beat Real Madrid, because I think, I know this is their first pre-season game. We've been training for 2 weeks. This is our 4th game. You cannot underestimate just how quicker and sharper we will be, not just in our movement, but on the ball as well. Real Madrid will just literally be, this is a first game for them to feel their way in, whereas we'll be a lot sharper. And I would imagine we'll be saying at 90 minutes that Carrick and Fellaini just dominated whoever plays in their midfield, but there'll be a good reason for it, because as we saw with Wayne Rooney, his mind was always willing, but his body just slowed down, and a 2% drop off for a professional footballer can make you look really, really poor.
Yeah, it can. It really can, and that's why I'll tip United to win. But like you said, I really, really want to see Pereira play today, because we haven't seen enough of him in pre-season. I want to see him get maximum minutes, because he's the one that, for me, is pushing a starting place in our first 11 for me. The only player on the periphery, I think Fosu Mensah's and all that, are still, bench worthy. I can't see him breaking in, but Pereira for me, he looks ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy about Pereira. I mean, I know a lot of people. Darian Jones has made another contribution. This is Mark. I think we'd miss Herrera's closing down. Plus, the other night he was finally testing the goalkeeper instead of the corner flag. Love. That's about the Herrera stuff. Thanks, Darian. Look, I'm more than happy to have Herrera. I only brought that in because I was going to talk about it last night. It's a hypothetical, and I love Herrera. And if I was going to say, if you've been watching the United stand for more than a few weeks, we've been going for about 2.5 years. I've been going on about Pereira for 2.5 years. At the last US tour, he was probably the player of the tour for me. Much like Mitchell's been when he's played this tour. It's like it's a young player who really wants to impress. Pereira was fantastic 2 years ago. I kept an eye on him, as many people did, last season on loan at Granada. He was very good, very, very good for a team that got relegated. He's come back. He doesn't look out of place. He looks as good as anybody. And I'm really pleased that he's doing well. In fact, I said 2 weeks ago before the US tour, you'll find the tweet out there, I said, as an outside shot, don't be surprised if Pereira wins Player of the Year for Manchester United. And everyone went, you being mad. I probably am being mad, because I don't know whether Mourinho will give him that many games, but I think if he does, I think he's a star in the making, and I've felt that for a long time.
Yeah, for United standards always bang that drum, and I've happily, been supporting that. He's that good. I really think he's that good. He showed his talent in a dreadful team last. To shine in a team like I forgot was it Granada or someone like that he was at, but to shine in a team like that is phenomenal, because they were poor, and he played some real tough opposition. I mean, he looked really good against Real Madrid when he played against them in the league last season. So it's that sort of that's the perfect loan move for me. We've seen Januzaj go out on loan and ruin his career, which is his own fault, is in his own doing, where other players a loan move can be really beneficial. So I was pleased with what he did last year, and yeah, that's not a bad shout. Player of the season could happen.
To be honest with you, I think that's a great shout about. We've got the team news now, so we'll come back to that. So the team does see Pereira start. It's the first name I spotted, and it's much the same. In fact, it's virtually the same as the team I sort of predicted on my preview. So you've got Romero in goal for the first half. Fosu Mensah will be right back. Bailly and Jones centre backs. Darmian left back. Carrick and Fellaini midfield too. If it wasn't Real Madrid's first game, I'd be frightened by that because of the lack of pace. Pereira, who I think will play as the advanced midfielder. Then you've got Martial, Lingard and Rashford. So I'm quite excited about that team. I don't think it's a very good team, Ross, but the positives in it for me, and I think for you as well, are that you've got Fosu Mensah starting, you've got Pereira starting, and we've got Martial starting, Rashford starting. I think Lingard's been very good on this tour. So apart from Phil Jones, Carrick and Fellaini, and I think Carrick and Fellaini will get by because Real Madrid will be slow and not match fit. Very, very good. He did say he was going to start Twansibi, but he's obviously not been able to find a place for him.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually. We haven't really mentioned Martial pre-season, but against Real Madrid, he's going to be wanting to grab the ball by the horns and really push their defence. And it's another chance to see what Martial's talent is against some of the best defenders in the world if they're playing their strong team, which I haven't seen yet. But yeah, he's interesting. Carrick really interests me as well because I forget that he's still with us, to be honest, and I completely discredit him that he's in the team. But he is really useful, and he's going to play a lot of games next season. I think we forget that, and we look for signings. But Jose will probably use Carrick quite a bit, and I think that's fair dues. I know he's old, but he still has so much to give because he's such a talent on the ball.
Yeah, I'm just typing the team out now, and it's going to go up on the screen below for everybody so that they can see it, so I don't have to keep reading it out. But it's good as well, isn't it? Because we are playing Real Madrid, and I don't know what Real Madrid's lineup is. We'll get that. Somebody in the live comments maybe can type that out for us. But we are playing Real Madrid, the best team in the world, and we are playing a team that's got Fosu Mensah in it, Herrera in it, Rashford in it, Martial in it. In fact, here's the Real Madrid team, Ross, so I'll read it out for everybody. It's a decent side. You'd expect that because Real Madrid are a decent team. So they've got Keylor Navas in goal, Carvalho, or however you say it, Varane, Nacho, Kroos, Benzema, Modric, Bale, Marcelo, Lucas, Isco. So a lot of good players there. I mean, Ronaldo's not there. We knew that was going to happen. But Modric and Kroos, their best midfielders. Benzema, Bale, Isco, Marcelo, Varane. It's a very good team for them. Granted, I do think we'll still win, even with some of the players that we've selected, like Phil Jones and Fellaini, because I think it will be all about the fitness. But we're going to get a good test, and that's very exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting. Bale, it's going to be interesting to watch him actually because he hasn't really played competitively for quite a while because he was injured for so long last season. So yeah, I'll be interested in watching some of these Madrid players as well as the United ones because the result doesn't really matter. It's an exhibition game. I'm just looking for individual performances, and yeah, it'd be nice to see the back four get tested. It'd be nice to see Phil Jones get tested because I think he'll absolutely crumble, to be honest, with Benzema. But yeah, good game. And Rashford as well. There was a comment earlier about him saying that he will bully defenders. And he will. He's bulked up so much over the summer, and he looks to me like the player that we all thought he was going to be. And I always worry when a player breaks through like Rashford that they're never going to live up to the potential, like Makeda, like Januzaj. But for me, every time I see him, he just looks like he's a better player. And maybe the summer's really helped him to bulk up, which is what Jesse Lingard's never managed to do.
Dripping Sauce 2K, you've not got away with it. I saw the comments, and you're lucky you're not getting blocked. I tell you what, Manchester United team news just comes out, and Dripping Sauce 2K types, "Sorry, the United stand. I've got to get off because Love Island started." I mean, that is blockable. That is blockable. Don't really block him, Marcus. It was a joke, but to actually put that on a comment, and you'll always be remembered. You'll go down in history now. We're talking about Manchester United team news that's just come in, and you're off to watch Love Island. Oh dear, oh dear. I know a lot of you like it. I don't know where you're coming from. The wife watches it, but there you go. Yeah, so team news. It's going to be interesting. I'll throw this out, Ross, and I'll throw this out to everybody on the live comments. In relation to Mourinho and the way he approaches his midfield, would there be anybody out there that actually would like to see us win, or would you like to see us, Lingard, Rashford, Martial, Herrera just go totally to waste because he stuck Carrick and Fellaini in there who are too slow and we get dominated by a better side? Now bear with me on this one because we played Manchester City twice last season and he played Fellaini in both games and our midfield got absolutely dominated. Of course I want Manchester United to win and I think we will win, but is this just another glimpse of what Mourinho likes to do with his midfield, which is play slow players that are too slow? I mean, I look at Fellaini and Carrick. I love Michael Carrick. I absolutely love him. But he's on the decline. He's too slow. Fellaini is slow. My concern about that team today, if Madrid have any level of fitness, is that if Madrid were fit, and I'm looking at their 11 now, they would absolutely kill that side. I think it's only because we are fitter than them that we're going to be able to beat them. Because Carrick and Fellaini, we saw them in the second half against Manchester City, and we created nothing. They're just big physical specimens, but I despair at it, and I do really think we will sign Matic, and I just think Why? Why can't we go and do what everybody else who is innovative in football at the moment are doing, which is getting a Kante type midfielder in there, getting midfielders in there who, and I could, people always say, Ross, that you're obsessed with pace, but I'm not obsessed with pace. When I say quick footballers, I'm not being literal. I'm not saying Usain Bolt reincarnated as a footballer. Modric is a quick footballer. I'm talking about a quick-minded footballer, somebody who passes and moves very, very fast, somebody who gets in the tackle and moves quick. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about sprint speed. Carrick and Fellaini are slow footballers. One, because they're very old and they're on the decline. One, because they've always been slow.
Yeah, you stole the words out of my mouth. I was actually going to mention Modric and Kroos because they are, physically really, really slow, but they're so talented on the ball. I don't think slow play is the issue. I think Carrick is a slow footballer, but because his passing range is so good, it doesn't really concern me. It doesn't make much of a difference. The issue is Fellaini's technical ability, because he is slow with pace, but he has no technical ability. He's got the best chest control in the world, probably. He's really good at headering it. Not really good at headering it at goal, but he's good at heading full stop. But it's his technical ability, and that's what it comes down to. Because if we had Carrick and Modric in that team, we'd all be absolutely fine with it. It's who Carrick's playing with is the issue. And I don't want to pick on him too much because, again, if he's played in the right way today, I think it would be interesting. If I was Mourinho and I had to play Fellaini, I'd go, it'd be interesting to see how this Madrid back four can cope with an absolute beanpole and just lob the ball up to him. I know it's not how we want United to play, but I think when you're playing Fellaini, that's how you've got to play. Otherwise, he's just null and void. So, it is a strange one. But we all knew he was going to play pre-season. I still back him being in the squad. I just don't like him being used as a starting player. But you'd hope that gets sorted out come first game of the season.
I'll tell you what, I'm very excited. I want to reiterate that I'm very excited by this game that's going to kick off in about 50 minutes' time, because it's a massive stadium as well. I mean, I love the global support. The Americans are very, very passionate about Manchester United, and I can't wait to see what the attendance is and the split of the fans. Manchester United are a massive club in America. We get people on Skype Goldbridge, which will be tomorrow night. Skype Goldbridge is back tomorrow night at 8:30, and hopefully we'll get a couple of Americans on, maybe people who've been at the game, because they constantly tell us that Manchester United are the #1 supported Premier League club, which is fantastic. So very, very excited and very, I knew at the start of the game against Man City that Carrick and Fellaini would start today, because he's got to use the squad. If we were to get torn apart by Real Madrid today because we've got slow midfielders and we get beat 4 or 5-0, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because it just points to the fears that many people have. If we win this game, which I expect we do, it just builds confidence. So I actually have got a lot of I've got a lot of respect for Mourinho anyway, but I'm very happy with the team that he's selected, because as we were talking about before we knew what the Real Madrid team is, which is a strong Real Madrid team regardless of fitness, he could have thought, well, I don't want to get embarrassed against Real Madrid. I'm not going to play Fosu Mensah. I'm not going to play Pereira. I'm going to go with Fellaini and Pogba and Carrick and Herrera and an experienced side. But he's not. He's playing Phil Jones. He clearly just wants to get everybody some game time, and I think that is exciting in itself. He had said he was going to play Mitchell, but he hasn't started him either, which is a bit disappointing. But no, I'm very, very positive that Fosu Mensah's starting. Pereira starts. And I think Pereira is going to have a more challenging game than he would do if he played with, say, Pogba and Herrera, because whatever anybody thinks about Carrick and Fellaini now, they're not Herrera and Pogba. So big responsibility on Pereira's shoulders as well. Which reminds me what I was going to say just before the team news came out, just about Pereira, just to wrap it up about him actually. You were saying, Ross, that the Januzaj goes to Sunderland and Pereira goes on loan to Granada in La Liga. What an opportunity. I think Januzaj got the better deal. He's playing for a Premier League club, and if he performed, then he's doing it in the league where Manchester United play. He absolutely blew that opportunity. Pereira did fantastic in a club that got relegated in Spain. I sort of wish Pereira had gone to Sunderland, because I still think he would have done fantastically well. I think that's the difference between Januzaj and Pereira. I think Pereira is really hungry and talented, and I think Januzaj thought he'd already done it and just wasn't willing to put the legs in. But I just think Pereira can be anything he wants to be, and if a bit like Martial, if it's not in a Manchester United shirt, I really think he'll do it elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Like you just said, the wonderful thing that I've seen from Pereira, I know it's early days and we haven't seen huge amounts, but he doesn't look like he's got an attitude problem, and he doesn't look like he's, you just got to look at Memphis on social media and it just makes you want to vom. But you don't get that from Pereira whatsoever. He comes across as a genuinely nice guy, which look, we've got a few of them at United, and you do need a few controversial people. But it is nice to just have a player like that coming into the team, because it's a player that I think if he does start playing like Herrera, that the fans just completely took to, Pereira will be exactly the same if they haven't already taken to him.
Yeah, I'm just tweeting out as well. Pereira starting with Carrick and Fellaini behind him. We're really going to see how good he is tonight, because it's a big challenge. He hasn't got the comfort of good technical football, good quick football players who are going to, Fellaini's not going to read what Pereira wants to do, and Carrick hasn't got the legs anymore to read what he's got to do. So a lot of the attacking play is going to come from Pereira tonight, which is very interesting. There was a question in the live comments there. Let me just have a look. I wanted to come back to. Oh yeah, Lingard. That was it. It's gone, so I can't say who said it. But basically, the question was, Ross, Lingard started every pre-season game so far. Is he now a first-team player for Manchester United?
No. He might be at the minute, but going forward, he absolutely can't and won't be, because he's not good enough. I know he's a local lad and puts in a lot of effort, but yeah, he's probably having a good pre-season from what I've seen of him, but no way. You're not going to win a Champions League with Lingard.
No, I don't think so. Right, I'm just going to take a little bit of a break. For anybody who's been watching the US Tour games, we've got a little bit of a partnership going on, which is very, very welcome, with Spotto Cash, which is a bit like Spot the Ball sort of thing. If you don't know how it works, let me just set this up for you.
Spotto Cash is a fun-based game of Spot the Ball with a weekly guaranteed cash prize of £10,000. To win, all you have to do is skillfully place a spot where you think the centre of the ball is on the image. At the end of each week, our expert panel of judges use their skill to determine where they believe the centre of the ball is. If your spot is closest to the judge's position, you win the guaranteed cash prize of £10,000. That's right, you don't even need to get the exact position to win, you just need to be the closest. You can also play for free to challenge your friends for a chance to win the monthly prize for the most skilled player. Start now on your phone, desktop or tablet.
Spotto Cash. Sign up. Link is in the video description if you're interested in that. They do it every week, and it's at midnight tonight it gets drawn. So have a go. I think it's a couple of quid. If you get it right, you could win 10 grand. Link is in the video description, and they announce the winner at midnight every Sunday. So you're going to be up anyway. Have a little go on it. And also, I was playing people with it. I've been playing people at it all weekend, because you can actually challenge people, a bit like, friend requests and stuff like that, and you can play like a penalty shootout on where the ball is, which is good fun. So link is in the video description. Get involved with that. Score prediction, Ross, what are you going for?
I'm going to go for 3-2 United. I think it's going to be a high scoring one, which is the jinx of 0-0, that.
You know what? I don't think it will be high scoring. You know why I don't think it will be? It's 45 minutes to kick off. Bang on. Somebody was just asking that. I am not thinking there'll be many goals in it, quite simply because I don't think we're going to create many chances. I saw that second half against Man City with Carrick and Fellaini, and it was very static and slow. And I have concerns that if Pereira doesn't get a lot of the ball, I don't think we're going to create many chances. I always feel sorry for Martial. This happened. Let's talk about Martial for a few minutes, and everyone else can get involved, because he is. I've got a good question here from LW10 as well. He says, focus on Rashford tonight and watch how he doesn't go for the ball in the air with his head. Aerial duels is something he definitely needs to improve on. So we like stuff like that. So give that a go, LW10. I don't know why that got deleted by United in the stands. I presume it's because he put capital letters at the start of it. But so don't use capital letters. But it was a good comment anyway. Go back to Martial. And I will be doing the watch along on my own tonight. So there'll be massive interaction with the live comments. So if I'm not reading as many now, it's because I've got Ross with me. But I will be reading a lot of live comments from kickoff at 10 o'clock. So don't worry. But that was a good one. And I will keep an eye on that with Rashford. But let's talk about Martial, Ross. I always feel sorry for him. This happened a lot last season as well, whereby he'd come on to games when we were shutting up shop, and he came on against Man City. Pogba and Herrera were off the pitch, Carrick and Fellaini were on the pitch, and we created nothing. You know, Lukaku was getting lots of opportunities in the first half, as was Rashford. Nothing in the second half because Carrick and Fellaini came on, and we lost that ability to move quickly and get at Man City's back four. And that seems to be the story of Martial's career at Manchester United. He never seems to get the opportunity when we've got our good midfielders on. He always seems to be living off scraps.
Yeah, you bang on, and that happened a lot last season as well. Like you just said, it always come on with 10 minutes to go to close out a game, and that's not Martial's game. It's attacking, and I think when he played last season, he did really well when he actually got the right chance, which was playing with decent players. So yeah, there is a little bit of that, but he can still. There's still enough in that team. I mean, he needs to leave himself open all the time. So players like Herrera can feed into him. For me, that's what I'll be looking at. But Rashford as well. But both of them, I like both of them in the same team, to be honest. And that never ever happens as well, because it's always one or the other, which is slightly frustrating.
It is. Do you think that? I just want to go back because it was mentioned before, and then the team news came in. Do you think that we will? Do you think Renato Sanchez? Do you think there's any chance of that happening?
No. I think it's a fantasy signing. I'd like to see it happen. I think it makes sense, so the press are picking up on it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't even think we're in for him whatsoever. I think if we were, we would have heard something of a bid, but it's obvious that we've been nowhere near him. But I'd like to see it, but I don't think it'll happen.
No, I'm a big fan of Renato Sanchez. Are you playing Call of Duty, Ross? Because it sounds like you got a helicopter in the background.
The flat, and the bloke above me just turned his washing machine on, but I've just moved out of the room.
I like Renato Sanchez. I do like him. I think he'll go to AC Milan. I mean, that would mean two midfielders that I've been talking about for Manchester United over the last 6 months have gone to AC Milan, and that's simply because AC Milan have got rich owners. They're not in the Champions League, but Kessie from Atalanta, really like him. And Sanchez, I mean, they're two fantastic signings for AC Milan. I'd love to have got one for United, but it's not to be. Yeah, I think I'd be stunned if Mourinho wasn't interested in Sanchez, but I just don't think he's on the list. The reality is, you've got to look at who's on the list that was given to Mourinho to Woodward back in April, and you've got to think, well, we don't know that list. But you can very easily deduct whether a player was on it or not, or whether there was a chance that they were on it. Verratti wasn't on it because he wasn't under Raiola at that time. Verratti was not on that list back in April, and that list has not been changed. Mourinho has been quite clear on that. Would Renato Sanchez have been back on the list in April? There's a slim chance he might have been, but I don't think he was. I think the midfield, because that's surely the position we're going to improve on. I don't know what your thoughts are, Ross, but I think if you're asking me who was on that midfield list back in April, I think Nainggolan was number 1 and we can't get him. I think Eric Dyer was number 2 and we're struggling to get him. And then I think either Matic is number 3 or Fabinho was number 3 and we can't get him, and Matic is number 4.
Yeah, I do find these lists a bit strange, to be honest, because the transfer market is a moving thing, and things change so rapidly. Like the Griezmann thing, which basically ruined all the lists right at the start of the window. I think you should really be looking at who's available and whether you want them, and be bidding for them. I don't really like this list thing, because that's when you get stuck on players like Matic and Dyer, when there's players like Kessie going for absolute peanuts because we're not in for him because he's not on the list. Well, why are we not going in for them? Forget the list. Let's look at actually what's going on in the market. That's what I'd be doing. So I don't really that's the one thing that's sort of annoyed me about the way we've done our summer is this list. It just winds me up. The fact that we won't go for players like Sanchez because they're not on the list. And yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Matic, Dyer, Perisic on this list that was created, 3-4 months ago? It needs to change.
A lot of people are saying that they don't think Fabinho was on the list. I've got to be honest with you, I don't think he was either, because I think he would have been a very easy deal to do. I think £40 million. I can't remember what Chelsea got Bakayoko for. Somebody let me know in the live comments, but I think it was less than 40 million. So why would they let Bakayoko go for, 35, I think it was, and not let Fabinho go for that as well? They're pretty much the same age. So yeah, just watching, that's a lovely little touch by Dimitri Mitchell, but Mata can do better. Basically dropping the ball out of a hotel, about 20 fleet up, 20 floors up, sorry. So we've got a few super chats I need to read here. Ashwari, thank you for the comment. He says he wants to know how far Deadwood can perform. He wants to know how far Deadwood can perform. I don't know what he's talking about there. Ed Woodward? Or is he talking about the Deadwood? Maybe clarify, Ashwari. James Bang, thanks for the comment. He says hi from Hong Kong. Score prediction, Mark and Ross. So Ross, your score prediction was 3-1, was it?
3-2.
3-2. I predicted 3-2 in the preview, but I'm actually going to go with 2-1 to United. I don't think we'll create many chances in the first half. We might in the second half, though. There might be goals in the second half in this game because we'll take Carrick and Fellaini off. Shahrakari, who is a Real Madrid fan, I knew he'd get commenting. He says it's 12 times UEFA Champions League winners versus 3 times UEFA Champions League winners. To be honest, on that one, he's got us. I think we should have won way more than we have. Kayam Ali says, do you sell them t-shirts with the buttons in the collar? We don't sell these sort of t-shirts. We do sell your normal round neck t-shirts, but we haven't got anybody to do these at the moment. Shubak, thank you. He says, Mark, any update on CDM and wingers signings? No. Perisic and Matic is who I think we'll get. James Bang, hi from Hong Kong. Yeah, we saw that. Thanks for that, James. And Shori Curry, who's a Real Madrid fan. No, he's on about, it's a different video there. He's on about De Gea. Yeah, so what were we on about before then? Let me get back to the video. If anybody's told us how much Bakayoko cost, I'd be interested. But yeah, I don't think Fabinho was on the list. I really do think it'll be Matic. And you're a big Matic fan anyway, aren't you, Ross?
I am. Well, no, sorry. I'm not a big Matic fan, but I can kind of see where he'd fit into our team and why we would sign him if he was available. But don't get me wrong, I think there is 5-6 other players I'd rather sign. But if they're not going to happen, I'd rather Matic than nobody. But I kind of think I've fallen into the trap of this United fan that's settling. And that is starting to annoy me. About a month ago, I was probably happy with Matic, but the fact that I've been quite annoyed recently, full stop, to be honest, because I've basically been off Twitter for a whole week, haven't heard nothing about transfers, and to come back onto Twitter and still see Perisic and Matic was very depressing. I think we'd have gone in for someone else by then, because for me, wingers, it seems to be Perisic or no one. I don't really see it being linked to anyone else, so it's infuriating. And yeah, I'd back Matic if he comes, but I'd go for why are we not bidding 50 million for Fabinho? I think 98% of fans are calling for it. Why hasn't it happened yet? It's strange.
Yeah, it just shows. Well, Mourinho's got to be his own man, hasn't he? And I totally disagree with Matic. I'm happy with Perisic. Tommy Engbloom has just made a comment. Thank you, Tommy. He says Herrera as CDM with Nainggolan and Pogba ahead. I would love that. I think has Nainggolan signed his new contract? You know what? I must admit, I've had a few messages. I do read the comments. Don't always get to reply to them. But somebody was saying, I really enjoy your opinion, Mark, but you've been such a hypocrite this summer. And I disagree with that, because I'm not a hypocrite. I always say what I feel at the time, and maybe my opinion changes. But you know what? I'm more than happy to apologise if I've annoyed people this summer. But I would say, in my defence, is much the same what Ross is saying there. This has been an unprecedented summer. I would challenge any Manchester United fan to say that you've not been happy, excited, despair, frustrated. This transfer window, it does weird things to you. I mean, one day you've got... I mean, let's just talk about some of the things. Griezmann was coming. He's on telly saying I'm 7 out of 10 that I'm coming to United on the Monday. Then I think it was either the following Thursday or the Thursday after he pulls out of the deal. Lindelof signs, we're happy. Perisic, Morata, we're happy. Then we don't get Morata when we still haven't got Perisic. In there, you've got on a Friday night, I remember Dimarzio coming out saying that we'd bid for Fabinho, which everybody wants, and Dimarzio last summer was just spot on. So you definitely think we're getting Fabinho. Then 3 or 4 weeks later, we don't really hear anything about Fabinho. Then the English press are saying that we're not in for Fabinho. Then Dimarzio's got nothing right this summer. Then Neil Custis says that Rooney's going to go at the weekend, and he does. And Carrick will be captain, and he is. Neil Custis from The Sun, who I like, and me and Ross met at the Football Blogging Awards. He's a nice bloke. But he does write for The Sun, and we all know what we think about The Sun. So it's just been a very hard summer, Ross, to and I suppose that's what it's all about, because I've seen it in the live comments, and I've seen it with me, and I've seen it with you, and I've seen it with all our guests. Look, we are all human. It is a fan channel. So I apologise if some of my opinions have been a bit up and down, but I just think it's been such a hard summer to deal with, because there's been nothing logical. I mean, Lukaku sort of just came from nowhere. We've lost, Rooney going, we thought it might happen, but it happened so quick. The Fabinho bid from Dimarzio for me has probably been the one that really messed with my head the most, because I thought, yes, we're going to get the player everyone wants, and then it wasn't true. So there's been so much this summer, and there'll probably even more, but I've sort of got to that point now where I think in relation to this summer, I don't think it's been very good, and I am sort of accepting defeat that it will be Matic and Perisic.
Yeah, and I look back to when I was on the watch-along for the Europa League final, and when we won that, we had about half hour afterwards just of pure excitement, not only because we won the Europa League final, but what was going to happen to United next. It seemed like at the time the sky was the absolute limit. And
I tweeted at 90 minutes. Welcome to Manchester, Antoine Griezmann, because I was totally convinced. And like you, yeah, carry on. I thought amazing summer ahead.
Yeah, and then look, Griezmann fell through, that happened, and we just got to get over that. But if you'd have told me on that day, just put Griezmann into it, right? Griezmann, Matic, and Perisic, and Lindelof, I'd have probably gone, really? Like, I doubt it. I think we'd be after a bit bigger talents than that. And Griezmann fell through. We got Lukaku, so that one just cancels itself out. I'm pleased with Lukaku anyway, but I'd have preferred Griezmann. But yeah, the others are just so uninspiring. But do you know what? And a lot of fans are saying stop moaning, and I agree to a point. We have to stop moaning, because if it happens, it happens. We've got to get over it. But you can't help but, you can't tell me that you wouldn't be disappointed and you wouldn't rather have a Fabinho. And it's not just Fabinho. There's lots of talent. And I said it earlier, I'm going to go back to him, that players like Kessie that went for peanuts. These Italian clubs are picking players up for peanuts consistently now, and we're not even, it seems like they're doing it behind our back or something, because we're not even sniffing at them, and I just find that strange. With the money that's in the Premier League, when players like Kessie are going for sort of 15 million, why are we not going, well, we'll pay 20? It's still peanuts for us, but we just seem to not be interested and rather pay £50 million for players like Matic and Dyer. It has been disappointing, and it has been a whirlwind of emotions, because, yeah, when Lukaku signed, I was all happy. I thought, this is it. This is where it starts. And I think United Stand account tweeted that out as well, but it never happened, really.
No. And again, Kessie hasn't actually signed for AC Milan. He will do. It's one of these two... Well, it's one of these 2-year loans and buy at the end, a bit like what Bayern Munich have done with Rodriguez. And apparently AC Milan are going to do it again with Sanchez. It's some, I don't know why the Premier League, maybe there's some Premier League rule that we can't do it. A lot of people are saying congratulations to @Cristiano Gutierrez on the live comments. I don't know what we're congratulating him for, but judging by the people who are congratulating are people that I would trust on the live comments. So congratulations to you, Cristiano. I don't know what it's about, but I'm sure it's something great. So congratulations, unless everyone's being sarcastic. What if Fellaini plays CAM and Pereira's CDM? Well, Pereira won't be CDM because Carrick will be, so I don't think we need to worry about that. If he's box to box Pereira, that's fine by me. Ed in for United, win today. We've got a new super chat actually, just in time. Ashwari Nipan says, Mark, do you think if this team's able to perform exceptional here, will it change Jose's thinking that one player is enough? I'm scared of that. What would you say? Well, I'll throw that to you, Ross. I think what he's basically saying, and thanks for the comment, Ashwari, if we were to beat Real Madrid 3 or 4 2 tonight. You said 3-2, didn't you? With that team, do you think Mourinho would suddenly decide he's got enough? I think I know what your answer is going to be.
No.
Yeah.
No, because Jose knows what he needs. He knows what squad he needs. He's an experienced man, and he knows it's a nothing game. It's not a nothing game, but it means absolutely nothing for the result. All he's looking at is individual performances, and I'd like to think that at least one of them players that's playing today hopefully won't be there at the start of the season, and the main one I'm looking at there is Phil Jones.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But for those who've joined us a little bit later, and I know there's a lot joined us since the first 15 minutes when I said this, because I think we were around 2,500 watching then. About an hour ago on MUTV, they were showing the Manchester United versus Real Madrid game from 2 years ago, and we won that game 3-1. And we had Johnny Evans playing at centre back with Phil Jones. We had Michael Keane playing at right back. We had Ashley Young playing. We had Darren Fletcher playing. We had Danny Welbeck playing, and we beat Real Madrid, who had Bale playing and good players playing. We beat them 3-1. Whatever we do tonight and what we did against Man City the other night, it means nothing. It means nothing. We beat them 2 years ago, and then when the Premier League season started, we had an awful start and we lost to Swansea. So pre-season games don't mean anything. What it does mean as a fan is we get to see players that we probably won't get to see playing. Well, they might force their way into the plans. People like Herrera, Fosu Mensah. That's the exciting thing. So I'm not going to read into it. I mean, the reality is, if we're winning 2-0 at half time against that Real Madrid team with Carrick and Fellaini in the team, with all due respect, they've got Kroos and Modric in there. That can only be down to fitness. Because are we saying that Manchester United with Carrick and Fellaini in the midfield can beat the current Champions League winners? Of course we're not. It's a match fitness game. It's a brilliant way to spend a Sunday night at 10 o'clock, and we're all going to enjoy it. But I don't think the performance really should be changing who our targets are. Are you alright, Ross, or do you need to get off?
No, I'll stay for a bit longer, mate.
Okay, no worries. CCR2971 says, what's up with people not letting us comment tonight? Calm down. I think we have got 4 moderators on, which is probably overkill. So they're being little Hitlers. I'll tell you what, calm down, everybody. Just get rid of the people who are abusive, and let's try and get everybody on there, because I'll need plenty of comments once the game kicks off, because it's just me on my own tonight. So what's the score? Says Sam Potter FTW. It's not kicked off yet, mate. We'll be changing the setup and everything in a couple of minutes. In fact, I'll probably do that next while Ross is talking. Matt is injured. Kevin Fellaini. Such a slow and outdated midfield, says Priest Puncher. I tell you what, I agree with that comment, Ross, that it is a very slow midfield, but I think we're going to see a sort of a perverse thing today because of Madrid's lack of fitness. I think Carrick and Fellaini will look really fast and better footballers.
Yeah, they probably will, and yeah, we've got Herrera in there as well to sort of shift the ball quick. Yeah, I think they'll look better. The whole team should look better than they actually are. Given that, I keep saying it and I hope it does come true, but I just think Real Madrid will be a bit behind our development. But as you said there earlier, even if we go in 5-0 at half time, it does not mean that this starting 11 is better than Real Madrid's starting 11, because it isn't. And I don't want to put a downer on how good United are, but that Madrid starting 11 is fantastic. I could argue that Kroos and Modric are probably one of the, if not the best midfield partnership in the world right now. So, yeah, they'll probably look good against them, Carrick and Fellaini tonight, but there is no way Carrick and Fellaini are better than Modric and Kroos. And, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's individual performances. It's Herrera today, it's Martial, it's Rashford, and even some of them defenders, which hopefully will get quite a big test today. And I'm looking at players like Phil Jones especially. We all know Bay's absolute quality, but you want to see something from Phil Jones, because we all saw what Smalling did the other night, where he just fell over running backwards. It was just embarrassing, and we know Phil Jones has got one of them in him, so it'd be interesting to see him get tested, and he will get tested tonight, because they got Modric, Bale and Benzema playing, which are at so much talent. Even if they're lacking in fitness, they should still be able to test our defence quite well, and so yeah, it'd be interesting. But maybe the long ball to Fellaini can get us out. It might be like we did against I forgot what team we played in the Europa League. I think it was the final where we kind of went over the top of their midfield to Fellaini. You'll probably kind of see something quite similar today potentially.
25 minutes till kick-off, everybody. And Mark Bolton says, you've got 4,000 co-commentators with you for the match, Mark. You're never alone. What a comment. And George Carl's talking about emojis. Martin Howells disputes what we're saying about match fitness. I tell you what, Martin, reserve that until about half an hour in, and when you've seen Fellaini running through their midfield like Lionel Messi, you'll either think you're on someone's put something in your tea, or you'll realise just how important match fitness is and how far ahead we are of Real Madrid. Let's not forget Real Madrid. Ross made a very good point. Premier League clubs, their fitness will be way ahead of anybody else because our league starts way before anybody else, and modern sports science is all about peaking at the right time. Real Madrid I don't think they start in the Liga until the end of August, so they wouldn't want to be at our level of fitness anyway. They're not behind because we're better prepared. They're behind because they're working towards the end of August. We're working towards August the 12th, so that's why we will be way ahead of them. And I guarantee I'll be very, very surprised if all our players, Fellaini, Carrick, everybody, don't look way sharper and quicker than people like Kroos and Bale. But I stand to be corrected, says the man in the orthopaedic shoe. But yeah, I do think it's all about that. Just before you go, Ross, I'm going to throw one question at you because I know you've been on an hour and it's not fair to keep you here all night. But do you think we've got enough up front? And I say that because watching the game the other night, Lukaku had to play for 90 minutes because we started off with Rashford and Lingard on the wings with Lukaku up front in the start of the game. And then in the second half, he took Lingard off for Herrera and he took Rashford off for Martial. But there was nobody. There is nobody in the squad who can then come on for Lukaku. He had to, he had that choice really. He either had to keep one of the wingers on for 90 minutes or he had to keep Lukaku on for 90 minutes. Because Martial could have come on for Lukaku, but then who comes on for Lingard and Rashford? It just highlights to me that how short we are up front because a lot of our forwards have to play as wingers because we haven't really got any wingers either. I don't think we're going to sign another striker, but imagine a horrible situation that maybe Rashford or Lukaku, they do their ankle and they're out for 3 months. Are we too short up front? Still there?
Yeah, sorry mate, I'm muted. Yeah, we are short up front, and that's why it depresses me when players like Hernandez are going back to West Ham, because I'd bring him back for the fee that's getting banded around from him. But I've just got a funny feeling, well, quite a big feeling, that we're going to re-sign Zlatan back on a free. So I think that's going to bolster up. But again, that's going to give all sorts of headaches because will he sign and be on the bench, or does that mean that we're playing? Because we will have this Zlatan anomaly where he plays every game. But yeah, we are short because, like you said, first game of the season, Lukaku gets a season-long injury, which can happen. Then we've just got Rashford, that's it. And like you say, most of our forwards are playing as wingers, which is not ideal. I don't want to see Rashford on the wing ever again. I want the left wing to be Martial's. I want Rashford to be a forward, supporting Lukaku, having more rotation than he did last season under Zlatan. He played every minute and developed the lad. Because I think he's got a higher ceiling than Lukaku. For me, Lukaku's a phenomenal player. Great to have him, but he can't stop Rashford's development because it's no one can stop it. It's phenomenal. So yeah, we are short, and I really hope we don't sign Zlatan back, but I just have a feeling we will.
I think it's obvious that we are going to get him because I think we are so short up front, and we're clearly not signing anyone in the summer. So Zlatan coming back, I mean, I've got no problem with Zlatan coming back. I think it'd be really useful to us, but there's two things that bother me about it. One that you've said. Are we going to go back to where he plays every week? In which case, we'll have Bournemouth coming to the Old Trafford, playing a high line and pressing us like an orange. Or the other thing is that we will we'll become quite. Will he go to the MLS when the MLS season kicks off in March? In which case, I don't want him anyway. I don't want him to come back for 3 months. He's got to. If he comes back, he's got to stay till the end of the season, not come back for 3 months. Play every week and then go again in March when the MLS starts. He's got to come back and stay.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. And I'd like to see him come back and be maybe a Champions League player or something like that. You know, give Lukaku the Prem games, because I think that's where the more physical demand and where you need pace and to get in behind is in the Prem. I think in the Champions League, teams will sit back against us a little bit more, and maybe he'll become more effective and can stat pad against, hopefully, quite an easy group that we should get. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. But yeah, I think you're right. He's definitely going to come back, and but it'd be interesting because there's no way he's going to come back and, you know, £75 million worth of Lukaku is just going to sit on the bench for him. That's not going to happen. So, but it hasn't Lukaku's taken his number as well, which is strange. So they come back and, yeah, be in a different number, unless they're going to take it off Lukaku when they just give it to him. But you never know.
The problem is, United don't have anybody. It's not like a couple of years ago where everyone got injured and Rashford got his chance. We don't have a striker who can play, even in the youth setup. So if it's so obvious, it's got to be Zlatan. But if it's not, then I'm very worried, because I think we just don't have the numbers up front. Thanks, Ross. Thanks for coming on. You're welcome to come back at half time if you want, but there's no pressure at all, because I know it'll be like 11 o'clock. And shout out your Twitter.
Cheers, Mark. He's at Hazard90, and yeah, I've enjoyed it tonight, because it's been a little while because I've been away and stuff. So yeah, I've been really enjoyed it, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, good to have you, pal, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Good night, mate.
Ta-da. Right, let me just shut that down, because that will leave. Right, okay. It's me and you lot now. We're closing in on kickoff. I'll get the timer set up and everything. But as that great man said, I don't need a co-commentator when I've got 3,850 of you. So I'm going to be massively interacting with you lot now until full time. So sit back and enjoy it. 3,850 watching. We've just lost 10 Ross fans. Ross, not Bros. I don't want any Bros fans. Maybe when Love Island finishes, we might get a few back. But please do drop a like on the video. We're very close to 1,000 likes, which I'm sure we can get before the game kicks off. We're also looking at the subscriber counter, 116,709. I think we can do 117,000 tonight. If you're new to the United Stand, what a great community we've got. You can see the live comments. Click that hologram in the bottom right hand corner, and make sure you click the bell as well when you have subscribed, because we are a live content channel, and my transfer show at 7 AM every morning sometimes is at 7:45 off my phone, so you'll need to be subscribed so you get the notification for that. What else was I going to say? There was something I wanted to say and it's gone from my head. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. It's Sunday night. It's going to be a 10 o'clock kickoff. You're on the United Stand, YouTube's biggest independent Manchester United fan channel. Big because of you lot. Tomorrow night at 8:30 it will be the Skype show where you can Skype in and have your say. We're live at 8:30 every single night. We've got the transfer show at 7 o'clock. You've got reaction to any transfer news instantly on the channel. So get involved, and like I say, subscribe so you get the notification. But one thing I don't do, I never do this, but let's see how many people we can actually get watching this stream tonight. There's a share button of the video. If you are on Twitter and you are on Facebook, click that share button, and if it's LinkedIn, you should just be able to share the link on Twitter, share it on Facebook, and let's see how many people we can get involved, because we've just hit 1,000 likes, and you are the commentators tonight, so you're the ones who are going to get shout out, comments, everything like that. So share it please, and let's get as many people involved as possible. What do I look for in the live comments? Somebody just said. Well, they do go along quite quickly. There's something I'm going to look for in a minute, which regulars will know. But tactical stuff is what I like. I love to read something a little bit tactical. Like that one we had a few minutes ago where somebody said, watch Marcus Rashford tonight and how he doesn't really challenge for aerial duels. I'm going to be watching that. My prediction is that there's a chance that we might not create many chances because we've got a static and slow midfield with Carrick and Fellaini. However, if Real Madrid's fitness is what I think it is, I think Carrick and Fellaini might look quite quick against a very unfit Real Madrid. Well, not a match sharp Real Madrid, so we'll see what happens with that. What I am going to do though is, if you look in the video description, we have Spotto Cash, which is a new Spot the Ball app game. Every week at midnight they announce the winner and you can win £10,000. I've been using this for a couple of weeks, and I contacted them and says, look, can we promote it on the United Stand, because there is a great feature on there where once you sign up you can invite friends, which I have, or you can ask to be a friend of mine, which I will have with you, and you can do a head-to-head, like a penalty shootout thing, where you get 5 shots each, and whoever gets closest to the ball when they reveal it at the end of the round is the winner. You play loads of those games, you get loads of points, and you can win a cash prize at the end of the month. But I'm not really interested in the money side of it. I just enjoy the head-to-head thing, and especially against United Stand community, of which I've beaten most of you. So you can sign up, the link is in the video description. But for those who don't know what it's all about, why is that not working? Let's have a look. It is working. Brilliant. Okay, so this is the website. As you can see, the link is in the video description. You get 3, if you want to play for 10,000, you've got 2 hours and 12 minutes to enter. They'll announce the winner at midnight, which you're going to be up for anyway. And it's basically a new spot the ball thing. If you're old school like me, you'll enjoy this. So let me just show how you go. So you play to win. It will show you a picture like that. You get 3 spots to select where the ball is. So 1, 2, 3. Check out, £2, and the one who gets closest can win £10,000. So that's one thing, very easy to do. And also you've got the play for free option, where you can play on your own, or you can do a head-to-head, where basically you can log in with Facebook, or you can log in with an email, and you have a head-to-head game with the same sort of scenario, and the person who wins is the person who gets closest to it. So that's made a mess of my screen. We're back. We're back. So get yourself signed up to that if you like Spot the Ball. I enjoy it. Ashwari's made another comment. He says, Mark, I love to see United get beaten 3 or 4-0 so that Ed Woodward gets to know how many players we need to sign to compete at a high level. I think if we got beat by Real Madrid tonight, then we would be in big trouble. Big trouble, because they are not fit and we are. And I expect Fellaini's fit. You know, you talk about Kroos and Modric, ability, everything, they're up there. Fellaini's right down there. With how match fit we are, and we're working towards August the 12th, and Real Madrid are working towards the end of August, because that's when La Liga starts. I think Kroos and Modric ability and match sharpness is there. Fellaini is probably around there. He'll be very close to them today, as will Carrick. So I think we'll win the game, and I don't think, you know, if we played Real Madrid this Real Madrid time next March with this lineup tonight, I think we'd get beat probably 4 or 5-0. But because of where we are on fitness, I think we'll win 3, maybe 2-1. Pogba's got a new celebration. Great. Would like to see how our midfield gorge against the best midfield in the world. What channel is the game on? Says Flaming Ninja. Well, I'm watching it on MUTV, so I'm putting more money into the club for the Glazers. Don't worry, I just feel very cynical at the moment. I know how much money Manchester United make, and I just don't think we are backing our manager anywhere near enough, which frustrates me. But no, you know, MUTV. I'm not gonna watch it on a stream. It's not right. People are sending me videos who are at the ground, but the problem is if you send it on a DM, I can't download it and then show it on screen. It's a bit of a pain, but. Thanks for that. We haven't had anybody send us an actual match review on their phone at the ground yet, which would be fantastic. I'd love to show some of that. That really would be good. Let's have a look at some of your comments, because that's what it's going to be about. Some people are saying maybe it's a 10:15 kickoff. I thought it was in 10 minutes time, so we'll see. A few people also saying that we're going to get thrashed. I don't think we will. And do we get to watch the game on here, says Marcus Raven. There's always newbies. There's always newbies, isn't it? Mark, did you know John McCann in Malahide, Dublin, says Daniel Wright. No. I know a John, but it wasn't that. I think it was John Galuli or someone like that, but it wasn't John McCann. Barry Reid, I know. Barry Reid's very famous now. I'm sure he doesn't watch this, but everybody knew Barry last night, but I think they were just having a laugh with me. Mark, have you noticed how two-footed Andres Herrera is? Was watching him in the last game and I couldn't work out what foot his dominant foot. That's from Ruben Ballard. I am a massive fan of Andres Herrera, and I have been ever since the start of the United Stand 2.5 years ago. So I'm not jumping on a bandwagon, but you know what? The doors are open. Jump on. He's a fantastic player. I want him to play for Manchester United. And it's a cliche to say that David De Gea staying is like a new signing, but I feel it is. But Andres Pereira's signing, coming back in the form he is like a new signing. He wasn't here last year. he is here now. He is like a new signing. It's a bottom line, and he can be absolutely brilliant for us. I didn't feel that we needed James Rodriguez, and I think Mourinho pretty much feels the same when you've got Andres Pereira. I put a tweet out in April and I got ridiculed by a lot of United fans when I said I don't want Rodriguez, Andres Pereira will be better, and I got a lot of people calling me all sorts of names, which I couldn't really understand, because I like James Rodriguez, wand of a left foot and all that, but I couldn't really understand why people were abusing me, a Manchester United fan, for sticking up for a United youth player who I think will be better than James Rodriguez. I stand by it, and I'll be very, very surprised if I'm not right. I just hope he gets to do it at Manchester United, because he's a fantastic player, and we're very lucky to have him at Manchester United. And I'm excited to watch him tonight. I think this is going to be his most challenging time to play for Manchester United, because he's hardly ever played any Premier League games, and this is a pre-season game, but he has got Fellaini and Carrick behind him. And I know it sounds like I'm really against Fellaini and Carrick. Michael Carrick's one of my favourite midfielders of all time. I love Michael Carrick, but he's on the decline and he's slow, and Fellaini is slow. Whether they, you stick Herrera and Pogba with Pereira, and he's going to have an easier game because he's going to get quick, quality ball. Whether he's going to get that tonight or not, I don't know. He'll have to go hunting for it himself if he doesn't. So it's big responsibility on young shoulders, but I'm sure he can do it. And Fosu Mensah at right back as well. People are asking me, who you're going to be looking at tonight. Yep, so Fosu Mensah at right back. I'd love to see him in the midfield, but Mourinho just doesn't want to play him there. Martial, one of my favourite players. Rashford up front as well. I mean, let's not forget about that. And let's be fair, Lingard has been very good on this tournament so far. Somebody asked about half an hour ago, is Lingard now a first team player at Manchester United? Well, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. But maybe that's one of the players that Mourinho is going to have to say, I'll have to make do with, because I can't get Perisic. So he's not done himself any harm, has he, Lingard? I think we'd all like somebody a little bit better, but he's not done himself any harm. Onyx D says he doesn't care about the result. Daniel Stein says play Fosu Mensah as a CDM. Matlock 2002 says do you play FIFA? I used to play. I don't really get much chance to play it now because little one and job and family and you lot doesn't really. I don't have a spare minute to sit down and play. To be honest, but I do enjoy it. I've just been sent something on. Oh yeah, apparently Ronaldo's told Neymar to sign for Manchester United. I never knew they got on. I don't think they do. I think it's a load of rubbish. In relation to transfer news, at the moment, people often ask me what I know. I probably know about as much as what the press knows, and that is that it's not very much. I think it will be Matic and Perisic. I think it would definitely be Matic, and I think Mourinho, when he said today, I want 3, I'd love to get 4. I might have to settle with 3. I think 3 will be Matic, and I think 4 might be Perisic in the next couple of weeks, or we might not get him. I think that's who he's talking about. So I wouldn't be getting excited about Verratti's or Ousmane Dembele's or even Neymar's. Then I don't think they're coming to United. Maybe I'm being a bit negative because that's just the way this transfer window's gone. For those who've joined us a little late and you don't ever expect me to apologise, I have apologised because I know that, like most United fans, there's been things said this summer where I think, it's not hypocritical. It's just, it changes all the time. I mean, my history in transfer windows has been quite good, and it's been quite exciting because, take Di Marzio, for example. Last couple of summers, he's been way ahead of the game and spot on about United transfers. When he said that we'd put a bid in for Fabinho a few weeks ago, I was convinced it was going to happen. He was obviously wrong. It's not going to happen. That's very disappointing. So it's been a roller coaster ride for Manchester United fans this summer, and I just can't be bothered to go on any more rides. I know it's exciting when you think we're going to sign somebody, but we've been taken for a ride so many times this summer by the press that I'm just going to settle down and just expect that we're going to get Matic and Perisic. If we get them, I expected it. If we don't get them, then I'm going to get a bit of excitement and happiness. But at the moment, that's just what I think. Our man says we never should have sold Nani. We never should have sold Nani. We never should have sold Hernandez. We never should have sold Raphael. We never should have sold Welbeck. We never should have sold Robin van Persie. All on Van Gaal's watch. And when you look at the deadwood in the squad at the moment, and I'm not critical of these players really. I just think when you look at where we probably need to have better players, Darmian, Fellaini, Blind. Obviously, we had Memphis and Schneidlin, and we've got rid of those. Phil Jones. There's a lot of players that really shouldn't be here anymore that Van Gaal either brought in or retained. Kickoff is in 5 minutes, apparently. It's hard to tell on MUTV because they keep reverting back to interviews that were obviously an hour ago. But when I looked at the ground a couple of minutes ago, it didn't look very full. Now, the attendance at this place is massive, and I want to see how big we are in our support compared to Real Madrid. Considering Real Madrid, Manchester United, and then Barcelona on Wednesday, who we're going to play, are the 3 biggest clubs in the world. So I want to see how big we are in Manchester. Good to have Mad Marcus back, says Keith's Films. It is. It'd be nice to have him back as a co-commentator, but not tonight, so it's going to be all of you lot. Troll says, any truth in Renato Sanchez rumours just breaking at the United stand? I haven't seen anything breaking. I would be ecstatic to see something breaking about Renato Sanchez, but we did speak about him about half an hour ago. I don't think we will be signing him. He's not trending on my Twitter. Caroline Flack is. I doubt she's... I think it's probably to do with Love Island, isn't it? Let me have a look. Renato. Why do they spell it with a Z? That's not his name. It's an S. There's nothing new. There's nothing new. People asking about Renato Sanchez. There's nothing new. Breaking. And it's probably to do with somebody I follow who's in Munich. It'll be Matic. It'll be Matic, let's be honest. We know it's going to be Matic. Right, lots of people watching. Remember to share and subscribe and like and all that jazz. We'd lovely to get over 5,000. We've not had over 5,000 watching for a long time. 5,000 United stand, army, community, watching Manchester United play Real Madrid together. The timer will start as soon as the game kicks off. You can sync in with us and get commenting. I normally do have a co-commentator with me, but I have done it on my own before, and I will do it on my own again. And realistically, why can't I watch the game with you lot and just have all your comments and make you feel part of it? Matthew Hewitt says, cheer up, Mark. I'm in a fine mood. I'm a little bit it's going to be a 10:05 kickoff, I think. They're always slightly late. Herrera did it at Granada. Surely Carrick and Fellaini are better than his last year teammates, so hopefully Pereira will pull it off. Look, Pereira's the one Ronald McDonald's bringing United out. Unbelievable. I thought it was Fellaini because that's a clown. I've just tweeted something off the main account, which I'll get in trouble for, but you know what? Life's for living. It was a bit of a joke. I just said, oh, look, Fellaini's leading us out. Oh, no, it's another clown, Ronald McDonald. I mean, the commercialisation of football just never fails to stab me in the heart. It really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. This game that I used to go and watch, you know, when football was football, and just over the years, I suppose it probably... You know, when people... I was asked this a few years ago. When did it start for you? When did football start to become changed from being this very, you know... There was bad things about it. Let's be honest. There was bad things about the football in the early 90s and the late 80s. Hooliganism and all that lot. And it is very much more family orientated now. But the commercial side of it's always been something that sticks in my claw. When did it really start? Well, obviously the Premier League didn't help when that started. I think it was 92, wasn't it? But 94, the American World Cup really gave it all that jazz. I think the contrast between 1990 and 94 was ridiculous. One thing we haven't mentioned about this game is the heat. I don't know what time it is this game's being played. I think it might be 5 p.m. In the location they're playing in the UK, in America. But it's going to be very, very hot. Very, very hot. Brimsy TV, if you're still watching and you don't realise why you can't watch anymore, we're not having those sort of comments put on there. It changed with David Beckham, I think, says David Logan. Are we getting 9 Golan, says Flamingo and Ninja. You know about as much as me, mate. I thought he was signing a new contract. Real Madrid changed it all with the Galacticos, says Jerm Mooney. Happy meal all round on the house, says Flex Felix. Who is watching the game whilst listening to Mark, says Sammy Carley. Well, that's the idea of the watch along, really. Sync in with us and listen. That's a good idea. If you can't watch it, that's great. It's 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m. in America, so it is going to be very, very hot, isn't it? It's a massive, massive stadium, but it doesn't look like it's a sellout. So let us know. Also, my favourite part of the show, just before it kicks off. It's not kicked off yet, by the way. Where are you watching from? I love to do this. Where are you watching from tonight? I'm Mark Goldbridge, and I'm watching from the Midlands in the UK. Let me know where you're watching from. Danny Dobson says, and thanks for the contribution, Danny. He says, anybody else annoyed that De Gea isn't playing? He's going to play in the second half. He's going to play the second half. Jared Reddig says it's 5 p.m. Dazza7 says that's a disgraceful starting lineup. I think I wouldn't get too serious about it, Dazza. It really is about giving everybody a game and some fitness. So, some good comment from Jazz. He says, I bet you're happy that you don't have to get up at 3 a.m. Look, I've got total respect for all those global fans who do get up. This one is a reasonable time in the UK at 10 o'clock, but the Barcelona game's midnight, so not going to get much sleep on Wednesday night. We've got loads of people watching. Keep sharing it. Keep sharing the video. I really want to get to 5,000 watching tonight. That would be fantastic. God, we've got people watching from Barnsley, Pakistan, Norway, Manchester, Barbados, Norway again, Jamaica, Manchester, California, Nepal, Nashville, Arizona, Tanzania, Nigeria, Baghdad, Copenhagen, Verratti, Germany, Santiago, Chile, Flippin, the Netherlands, Cape Town, South Africa, Sweden, Belgium, Namibia, Wales, Pakistan again, 3 p.m. in New Mexico, USA, LA, Nigeria, Dublin, Ireland, boom. We're over there next week. Is it Ireland next Wednesday? Game's about to kick off, folks. Let me sort the timer out before I go and read any more. Looks like Attilio Lombardo, who's with a bit of hair. Lingard and Rashford stood over the ball. Nice shot of Fellaini. I think the interesting thing for the first few minutes for us all to keep our eye on, because we're all commentating tonight, is let's just watch about the speed of Manchester United against the speed of Real Madrid. I think that is where it's going to be very telling. I predict United will be at least... Well, we'll see. We'll wait and see what happens. Wigan, Montreal. Okay. Would maybe do that. If we're so close to 5,000 watching, I don't know whether it'll go up or down now, because some people come back at half time. But if you are new, make sure you subscribe, drop a like, and join the United Stand. We're live tomorrow night at 8:30 with the Skype show, where you can all Skype in and have your say. The midfield three looks like this: Carrick in the anchor role, Fellaini to the left, and Herrera to the right of a midfield three. You've got Rashford up front. No real shock. Bailly and Jones centre back, Fosu Mensah right back, Darmian left back, Lingard on the right, Martial on the left, Rashford up front. I'm happy with this team. It's a challenge. Real Madrid, how fit and match sharp are they? Much better team, Madrid, than ours, even without Ronaldo. but it's a great opportunity for some of our younger players to get involved. Herrera especially, but even Rashford up front. Can he run the line well? Nice little layoff there by Lingard to Herrera, and Herrera and megging Martial to find it back. Nice early touches between Lingard and Herrera, and Fellaini nearly getting Lingard in. No foul, just no upper body weight. Ivor Biggin says he's watching from my house as he robs it. Yeah. Well, come in, Ivor, and say hello. I can't say that name, Cole Pauls. He's watching from South Africa. Utenhaj? Don't know. Vince Chapman says he thinks we'll bring Pogba and Lukaku on in the second half. Oh yeah, get excited, folks. We'll definitely be bringing on players in the second half. There's no way this lot are playing 90 minutes. We've got Barcelona on the weekend, on Wednesday. So, you know, some will play 60 minutes, some will play 70 minutes. But we're retaining the numbers, so come on, keep sharing. Let's see if we can hit 5,000. Oh, we've just lost 60. We might not do it. I shouldn't have spoke. The score is 0-0. Matthew Harnett, that's why it says 0-0 above the timer on the right, as you can see. Raymond says show us the game. Look, the United Stand, YouTube's biggest independent Manchester United fan channel. We're not so big that we can show you match rights yet. I'd love MUTV or BT or Sky to just say, yeah, you can show it, but we can't. It's a watch along. If you can't watch it, we obviously keep you up to date with what's going on. If you can watch it, mute whatever the commentary is you're watching and listen to us as well. Fellaini's... If you were watching that pass by Fellaini, that's all I'm going to say. First 2 or 3 minutes, we're pressing very, very well. Again, I would expect that because Madrid look very, very, very unfit. Zidane's got a cap on because he doesn't want to burn his bald head. Corner to United. Herrera will take it. Can we score? No, Smalling's not on the pitch. He's got a good cross on him then, Herrera, but it is cleared. But we are pressing them well, and we're using that fitness advantage, which we all predicted that we would have. Remember, this is Real Madrid's first game of the season, and it is Manchester United's fourth. So the fitness will count. And we're well in their half at the moment. We really are. You know, that concern that maybe our midfield was a little bit slow and we wouldn't be able to get to our attackers. Well, we're actually pressing them in their own half, although we've given a foul away there. Be interesting to see how this game develops. Interesting to see. Wow. Is that right? We've got 6,700 people watching. Well, if you're new to the United Stand, make sure you subscribe and make sure you join the United Stand community. We're not just live for watch-alongs. We're live every night at 8:30. We have a transfer show going up every morning at 7 AM. Tomorrow night at 8:30 we've got the Skype show where you can Skype in and have your say. Massively interactive with the live comments. So get involved if you found us and you're new. Fantastic. We've not had that many people watching for a long time. Normally around 3,000 to 4,000, so that's good. But Madrid on the attack here with Modric. Oh God, Darmian's just been sent back to Italy there with a nice little bit of jinking. I think it might have been Isco. Benzema with the cross. Romero punches clear. So decent start. Darmian did just get sent back to Italy though. Omar Khan said, what was that Herrera thing yesterday? Omar, we went live with the Sunday Night Live show at 8:30, an hour and a half before kickoff. It was about 20 minutes into the stream. Yeah, 20 minutes into the stream, I spoke about Herrera. So come back later and have a watch. But I can't talk about it now because it's been a good start to the game. Rashford's got away down the right here. Has he got any support? He's not going to keep it in. I tell you what, it's been a good 5 minutes. A really good first 5 minutes. Real Madrid with a couple of chances. I think it's going to be close, isn't it? As I said, Real Madrid's starting 11 is better than ours. That's fair enough. Our fitness is better than Real Madrid. So it's whether that balances it out or the ability comes out or the fitness comes out on top. So it's an intriguing one to start off with. AJ Nell says he can't watch the game. Don't worry, we'll keep you up to date with it, and I'm sure people in the live comments as well will. David Lloyd says it's not sold out because the tickets are too high. How high were they? How high? Liam is watching from Cornwall. Herrera is class, says Forever United. I tell you what, Darmian's not. He got absolutely done. Absolutely done. James White free running says City are better. Well, let's wait till the Premier League starts. I'm not even going to be childish and say we beat you the other night because it's pre-season. Pereira's had a very, very good start. First 6 minutes, really, really good. Good save. Good save. United with a shot there. Sorry, I was just typing something on Twitter. Good shot from distance, and Kyler Navas. I thought it was going to nestle in the top right-hand corner. Was waiting for a replay on it, but good shot by United. Come on. Come on. Pereira's on the cross here. I'd like to have seen that shot again. Somebody's just said that Fellaini couldn't pass the salt. Another cross comes in and it's cleared. I think Pereira's got such a good cross on him, but Manchester United's problem isn't really the crossing. Lingard's got in down the right. He does keep it in, and it's another corner. So Pereira's putting lots of good crosses in, but like I said, the problem with United is it's not, last season I don't think we were crossing very well. I think it was either Rashford or Lingard who shot that. My screen's a little bit blurry there on that replay. But we don't really have anybody in the box who's good at getting on the end of it. Although Fellaini's on the end of this. Good chest control. Feeds it out wide. Rashford. Poor cross. Real Madrid will get clear. But it's been a good start by United. And we've won it back by pressing them again. Phil Jones. Refs allowed it to play on. Rashford out on the flank. But we've got nobody in the middle at the moment. Fellaini gets tackled. But Pereira might get away. Tries to shoot. And Navas keeps it in. It's a fast-paced start. It's an enjoyable start, and United are shading it at the moment. The fitness levels are winning out over ability. I'll tell you what, if you're Real Madrid though, if you are a Real Madrid fan watching, we've already spoken in the build-up that we expect Manchester United to win this game, not because they're the better side, but because we have been training a lot longer and this is our 4th pre-season game. And maybe we will win, but let's be honest, Real Madrid are streets ahead of Manchester United when everybody's fit, and if on a level playing field fitness-wise. But if you're a Real Madrid fan, I tell you what, you'd be very happy about this game being your first one because you're going to get a real workout, a real workout. You get it. But here's Isco against Darmian again. He skinned him once. Will he do it again? Not quite. Martial was helping him back. I'd like to see Martial get a lot more of the ball in this game, to be honest. Marcello coming down the left, and it will go out for a corner. Ricky Clarkson says congratulations on 117,000 subscribers, which I've seen we've just hit on the bottom right hand corner. Thank you. If you are a new subscriber, what I would say is we do watch alongs for every Manchester United game, but the channel The United Stand is far, far more than that. We are live every night at 8:30. Every night at 8:30. Every morning there's a transfer show during the summer. And we react to any big live United news, always with the live comments, as you can see to my right, always interactive, always looking to get you lot involved. So if you do love Manchester United, you found a fantastic community, and get involved with us. Tyrell Nessel has just told us how much he loves Turkey, but don't tell us it 5 times, mate. You'll get it deleted. Mark, do you think United will beat Madrid in the Super Cup? I have a good feeling United will win, says Ryan Brain. It's a good point, Ryan, and I was going to sort of mention that at some point, and it has died down the game a little bit at the moment. United have got it in their own half. I think the same thing will be applicable to the Super Cup as it is to this game, although Real Madrid will be a lot fitter. Real Madrid are working towards the end of August when La Liga starts. I'm sure they'll want to win the Super Cup, but our fitness levels should be a lot better. This is our 4th pre-season game. We've got Barcelona on Wednesday. We're playing in Norway on Sunday. We're playing in Dublin the Wednesday after that. And then we've got the Super Cup, which is before we play West Ham in the league. So it's all part of our preparation, and our whole squad is getting a lot of football. So I think the Super Cup will be a better game than this because everyone will be a lot fitter, and we'll probably put a better side out. But if Ronaldo's not playing in the Super Cup, then obviously that makes it slightly... But Real Madrid are the best team in the world. Let's not forget that. They are the best team in the world, and I don't think they're the best team in the world tonight because, you know, they're not match sharp. But in a one-off game in the Super Cup, it depends how... I've not watched the Super Cup final for a long time because unless it's your club in the Super Cup final, why would you watch it? So I don't know how seriously people take it. United are playing well so far. Billy Watkins says, what team do you support? Well, we're surrounded by Manchester United stuff, but I actually support Real Madrid. No, I don't. I'm being sarcastic. Manchester United. We need Dyer in our squad, says Dalen Martial. I think it will be Matic that we sign, as I've said. I'd much prefer Dyer. I'd love Fabinho, but I think we'll have to make do with Matic. What do I think about Verratti? Says Saf. I love Verratti. I just don't think we'll get anywhere near signing him. Mark, now you know what Aussies feel like watching the EPL at 2 AM, says Joel Cantor. Yeah, the last 2 games in the pre-season tour, sorry, the last 3 games on the pre-season tour have been at 3 AM UK time. So we've really had a glimpse of what it's like for the United support worldwide, getting up in the early hours to watch United play. I've been doing the United stand for 2 years now. I've been doing the watch-alongs, and I know a lot of people watch United stand and support Manchester United all over the world. And I've said it consistently. It's one of the big reasons I always ask at the start of the watch-along where you're watching from, because I know that some of you will be watching at ridiculous o'clock when the Premier League's on. That's the support. I think the commitment of people who are watching United play in the early hours of the morning is fantastic, and it's nice to get that glimpse on the US tour that we've had over the last few days. How anybody ever did it when Van Gaal was our manager, I don't know how you stayed awake. It just seems physically impossible to do that. But look, we've got the best support in the world. Of course I'm going to say that as a United fan, but your commitment to the cause is amazing, and you know, I'll always back you and give you that shout out because I think you're great. Theon Curtin says all new subscribers to the United Stand are welcome. Look, you are. You can listen to what I've got to say, but realistically, the United Stand is all about the community that we have. So it's nice that people are welcoming people there. Paul Robinson says 130 million for Perisic and Verratti. What's your opinion? My opinion is let's do it, mate. Where do we sign up? But I don't think we are going to do that. I think what we're going to do is Perisic and Matic. I don't want that, but I think that's what we're going to do, and I'm setting myself up for that. Ding dong. 15 minutes in, it's died down a little bit from the fast pace that we had at the start, but it's still a good test for both sides at the moment. We really are seeing Real Madrid getting pinned into their own half. They're getting really, really pinned in there, and I don't think they can do anything about it because they don't really have the fitness levels to do anything about it, if that makes sense. Here's Bale and Fosu Mensah. Oh no, I think the referee has given something there. Zach Stevenson says, is De Gea going to leave? That is probably one of the only comments I can absolutely answer you with 100% conviction. De Gea is not leaving Manchester United this summer. Mourinho has come out and said it himself that he guarantees that De Gea will be a Manchester United player next season, which is great news, absolutely brilliant, really, really happy about it. And if you weren't aware of that, I'm sure you'll be very, very happy as well. Mark, I think that we at the United Stand started the Fabinho rumours. I would love it if he comes, says Hirsch Puri. I would as well. I know there is United Stand t-shirts, but are we able to buy United Stand polo shirts, Mark, says Jonathan. Unfortunately, no. This is a limited edition that I had made for myself. On the last US tour I got it, actually. I could probably dig out where I got it from, but it's not. It wouldn't be viable for us to start selling them because we'd have to like sort of deal with orders and stuff like that, and it's just You know, we sell the round neck t-shirts through Amazon, and we don't have to get involved in that. They do it all for us, but they don't do polos, unfortunately, which is a shame. Mark, any idea why Mourinho won't play Lindelof and Bailly together, says James P. Maybe he's not going to play them together. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to play them together because he doesn't want to give everybody a heads up about how they play together. I don't know. It's a good point. Jack Brown says, Mark, are you familiar with Drogheda in Ireland? I am, because my best man from my wedding lives in Drogheda in Ireland. So there you go. I know it. I've been there. And I like it. It's a nice place. Teo says, am I able to make a super chat in Ireland? If you can see the $ at the bottom of the live comments, you can click it, you can make a contribution, and make sure you leave a comment on there and we'll read it out. If you can't see it, you can't contribute. Madrid not really been great so far. We have been in control, says the Football Bear. That is exactly because of what I predicted in the preview, what a lot of you have been saying as well. This is their first game and they are not match sharp. It's a bit like a prize fighter not preparing for a fight. You know, they haven't got the fitness levels that we have, and that is why even now, Michael Carrick's running through their midfield with pace and conviction past Modric and Kroos. It's unrealistic if it's a level playing field, but Madrid haven't. It's not an unlevel playing field because Madrid have been caught cold. Madrid are working to be match fit by the end of August. We're working to be match fit by August the 12th against West Ham. So it's all about, pre-season's always going to be like this. You're always going to get a mismatch. It'll be the same against Barcelona on Wednesday. I'll be surprised if we don't beat them for the same reason, because our fitness is a lot better and our sharpness is a lot better. Lingard is dominating, says OG the. Yeah, Lingard's, even against LA Galaxy, when a lot of our players looked really a bit like Real Madrid looked today. And remember that game against LA Galaxy? I remember people like Blind looked really, really poor. A lot like Real Madrid looked tonight, because it's their first pre-season game. But Lingard has been in all the games very, very, very fit and sharp. Kroos. Lot of little niggly fouls going on at the moment. A. Johnston's from Dundalk. Neil Perkins says, do you think we'll sign anybody else? Honestly, yes, I do. Bale's just chopped Herrera down, but yeah, we will sign people, Neil. Of course we will. But I think we'll end up. I really do think, and I am being negative about it in my own mind, because then when it happens, I've accepted it, and if we get anything better, it's better than I expected. I do expect it to be Perisic and Matic. I'm happy with Perisic. Matic I've got concerns about. How's the match, says Rapid Z Danny. It's good. It's going very, very good. I've been very impressed with United's pressing in the first 10 minutes. But I'm not judging this on United are going to win the league, United are better than Real Madrid. I'm judging this on totally an exhibition game that I'm watching because I love Manchester United. You don't learn anything from pre-season results that you should take anything from. We could beat Real Madrid 4 or 5-0. It doesn't mean anything. It's just what matters is the individual performances. And so far they've been very good. I mean, I've got to hold my hands up and say Lingard's been very good on this tour. Pereira was the player of the tour 2 years ago, and he never played for United that season. Just it can be about different players and their fitness levels being ahead of others. Some people, like Wayne Rooney was a prime example. He was always pretty poor on the tour because it takes him about 6 weeks to get up to scratch. But when Rooney's up to scratch, he's one of the best. He was one of our best players. I think Lingard looks to me like a player who maintains good fitness no matter whether it's off season or not, and that puts him ahead of players. Here's Real Madrid on the attack in our penalty box. Marcelo might put a cross in here. It's up against Timothy Fosu-Mensah, who needs to do better there. The cross came in. Fosu-Mensah clears it for a throw-in. Umar doesn't know what the fascination with Fabinho is. I just think he ticks a lot of the boxes ability-wise as to what we want. Judah Curry I want Renato Sanchez. Do you like him more than Matic? Says Judah. I like a lot of midfielders more than Matic. I'd prefer Ross Barkley to Matic, to be honest, but we do need a centre defensive midfielder, and we'll just have to back our managers. Manager. Do you know a town in Manchester called Middleton? I think we need to sign Fabinho or Verratti. They would be a great contribution to the team, says Aaron King. I have heard of Middleton. I've not been there. Martial's looking busy, says St. Colombo. I think we've all looked busy. Real Madrid just got a throw in. That's a good call. That's a really good point. Really, really good point. This from Danny Smith. Lingard is fitter than everybody else at the start of the season because he weighs nothing. No weight to him at all. It's easy to keep fit with how light he is. Very, very good point from Danny Smith. If you think about these footballers, they're not all wafer thin like Lingard, and when they go on holiday for a couple of weeks and they're not training as intensely as they are, they're not at their fighting weight, then they will put a little bit of weight on, and that will affect their fitness. Whereas Lingard, like Danny says, he's so skinny that weight is never a problem, so he maintains his fitness. X Gamer TV blocked. Sorry, mate. Mark, where is Lukaku? Says Troops. He's on the bench with Pogba. He played full game, didn't he? Fosu Mensah there, fouling Bale, sticking close to him. Carrick is so slow and static, says NTA Croc. Well, Carrick and Fellaini in the midfield, it was always going to be a bit of a question mark. But I do think that because Madrid are looking a bit slow themselves, that it sort of balanced itself out. Larry Davis says, who's on the sub bench? Everybody except for Mata, who's injured, so it's the whole squad who is available on the bench on a pre-season tour. Charlie Phillips says that Rashford's strong out wide. And Lewis Gitton says, how are we playing? It's quite a quick game, to be honest. A lot of mistakes from Real Madrid, which you'd expect because it's their first game. Our passing is better, but it's starting to fade into what I thought would happen now, where you've got Carrick and Fellaini very deep and very static, and it's hard to get the ball forward. And after a good first 5 minutes, it's starting to fall into that second half against Man City, where Carrick and Fellaini are just right in our own half, really deep, and we're not getting it forward. Rude9 the Master says, will Mourinho stay for 15 years? Obviously, Mourinho said he'd like to stay at Manchester United for 15 years. He said something very similar when he was at Chelsea. He said something very similar when he was at Inter, and he said something very similar when he was at Real Madrid. So I wouldn't read anything into it. Hopefully Mourinho will stay for a long time, but the reality is he doesn't really stay anywhere for longer than 3 years. He normally falls out with the owners, and the way the summer's gone in relation to transfers, if that continues, I think Mourinho, he's got a reputation to uphold, and he won't want to get judged on not getting the players that he wants. So I don't think it will matter too much this year, but if we don't have a very good season and then he doesn't get supported again, I don't think Mourinho will hang around just because he loves Manchester United if he can't get the players that he wants. I think Real Madrid are starting to come into this game a little bit more now. They seem to have found the pace, and our midfield's become a bit slow. Don't know what people think about that. We'll probably score now. Just looking at the next few games. So we're playing Vålerenga in Norway next week. It's I think it's a 6 o'clock kickoff. That'll be interesting. And then we've got Sampdoria on the Wednesday in Dublin. I'm gutted about that. I lived in Ireland for 3 years. I know Dublin like the back of my hand. Somebody from my work's actually gone there this weekend, and they were like, "Oh, where do I go? Temple Bar?" I said, "No, you don't go anywhere near Temple Bar. Temple Bar's a nice place, but that's where all the tourists go. You want to go here, here, and here, because Dublin's a fantastic city." I was hoping to be going over to that. It would have been bloody brilliant, and I can't do it because of something else that's going on. So we were doing a watch along, but I can't go to Dublin. And I hope United do play in Dublin again, because I will definitely make sure that I can go to the next one. I'm gutted about that. Did your grandpa actually get to see Duncan Edwards play? Says Fernando Abendaz. Yes, he did. And did Jake, my dad's from Limerick City. Oh, they're just having a chat. I'm an Arsenal fan, but it seems like you're a good fan, not plastic, to be honest, says Wayne Shaw. Thank you, Wayne. Mark, what do you think of Chris Eubank Senior? I'd love him on this show, says Barry Shaw. I used to like Eubank, actually. That was a great period of boxing. Watson, Eubank, Ben. That Ben McClellan fight was just... It was like a Rocky film. Ben getting knocked through the ropes in the first couple of rounds. It would have been ended these days, but to come back in it, and then the tragedy is that he gave the lad brain damage, didn't he? I mean, the referee really should have stopped that fight in the first couple of rounds when Ben was going through the ropes. McClellan would have probably not. Well, he wouldn't have got brain damage, would he? But yeah, it was a great period of boxing. That was it. Super middleweight. I used to love it. ITV Saturday night. I don't watch much boxing now. Decent cross there from Marcello, but Romero's got it. Suhas Nagraj has said, "We are Manchester United. We should be able to sign anyone. We're the biggest club in the world. Why not Verratti, Fabinho and Dybala?" And Thomas Duffy says, "Temple Bar is a rob." It's 0-0 at the moment, mate. That's why it says 0-0 to the right of me. First 5 minutes were really, really good. Really fast paced, but it's sort of settled now. And... it's settled into the game I feared. Ross was saying that he thought 3-2. I think it'll be low scoring, to be honest, because I think United's midfield is just suddenly died a death with Carrick and Fellaini in it, starving as of oxygen. It was a really good first 5 minutes. Annoyed now. Here we go though, we're on the attack again. Fellaini. Ugh, rubbish cross. Yeah, slow movements in the midfield is definitely starving our attack of oxygen. If anybody could just do a little bit of research for me, if you're up for it, and I'll keep an eye on the live comments as to what the actual attendance is and what the capacity is for this ground, because I can see a lot of red, but I think it looks like a pale red, like a sun damaged red that you get from plastic seats, which we as Manchester United UK fans are used to seeing those sort of plastic seats of a blue variety in the Etihad, but there seems to be a lot of red plastic ones here. So I'd be interested to know what the capacity is and how many actually have attended, because that's it's disappointing if it's just a money making exercise. They could have filled it if they just made the prices a little bit cheaper. Strong by Bay there. Mark, we really need to get Fellaini off at half time. Real Madrid tearing us apart in midfield because of the lack of pace from Herman Sonchi. That's a good one. Sudash Kumar makes a good point. He says if we get any injuries to our first team players, then we really don't have enough backup. I think that's very true out wide, it's very true in the midfield, and it's very true up front. Players just having a drinks break now, which is obviously quite a regular thing in America. We're not used to that in the UK. But yeah, drinks break. Water break. Jamie Mallion says it's maximum capacity 68,000. Capacity 70,000, says Peter Doyle. And Man United Fanatic says it is pretty full. I'm getting contradictory things here. Subs will happen, says Shasang. No, he says when will they happen? Actually, that's a better shot. It looks like it holds about 100,000, but I bet it doesn't. Jack Brown says you should do a meet-up in Ireland if you're ever over. I definitely would. I'd sort it out with one of my favourite bars. I like Sinnott's, which is under Stephen's Green shopping centre, and I like the Hairy Lemon, which is near Break for the Border, and I like Break for the Border, but I don't think it's called that anymore. But it's opposite the Hairy Lemon's opposite that hotel that was Break for the Border. So yeah, I'd do it there. I love those two pubs. I love loads of pubs in Ireland. That's the problem. We'd have to do a tour. Maximum capacity is 65,000. And the Texter squad says it's a 55 to 45 split at the ground, and there's 65,000 there. 65,000 at the stadium, says Dalen Marshall. Love the videos, Mark. You've done a great job. Keep it up, says Richie Singh. Thanks for that. How is Pereira playing, says Night King. He's done okay, but it's the same problem every time Martial seems to play. Martial, Lingard, Pereira and Rashford are just being starved of any chance to shine in this game because they've got Carrick and Fellaini behind them, and the ball is coming through really, really slow. Cali United says the tickets were expensive, that's why I didn't go. I live 3 hours from there. Cali, we're talking about this at work. It's not to do with football, but we're talking about this at work about like the distances. Would you consider 3 hours is not far in America to get somewhere? Because in England 3 hours is virtually one side of the country to the other. You know, if you've got to go over 2 hours, you call it a big journey. So 3 hours to me sounds like quite far, but I don't know in America if it is. Shubak's made a contribution. He says Fosu Mensah can be a fantastic midfielder. He knows how to break up the play. I agree. I think he's totally wasted at right back. So we're back up and running anyway. And it's Real Madrid on the ball. Fellaini with a foul. I think Fellaini's been pretty poor the last half an hour. I don't know what everybody else thinks. Brendan Echeverry has confirmed what I thought. He says 3 hours travelling is nothing over here. I thought that was the case. Obviously the UK is very small. I think you could fit the UK in Philadelphia or something like that. I'm sure somebody said that to me before. Mensah is the best player on the pitch. Adam Shelley says the game is boring. Fosu Mensah for CDM, says Kev McGee. I've just tweeted it out based on your comments, to be honest. How are we getting on in this game, says JJ Tommen. First 5 minutes were very good. We pressed them. We used the fact that we're much sharper than them in relation to match fitness. This is their first game. This is our fourth. But to be honest, for the last 25 minutes, Real Madrid have just kept the ball, moved the ball, adjusted to the speed of the game, slowed us right down, and now it's turned into the game I feared it might be, where Carrick and Fellaini are just way too slow and we're not moving the ball quick enough to our forwards. It's passed backwards all the time, and again, we had the ball there with Carrick, and now Real Madrid have got it. Look, I think it's sad about Michael Carrick. I love Michael Carrick. He's one of my favourite players United have had. But Mourinho hardly played him last season. He is on the decline. I don't know what he can offer. I think he can offer us things at home to teams like Hull and Stoke. Well, not Hull because we won't play them. They got relegated. And Stoke. But that's good play by Pereira. Really, really good play. Absolutely fantastic. 4 players around him. Unfortunately, Lingard couldn't hold it up, but really good play. But Real Madrid are sort of stepping up on us now. They're biting into the tackle, and the quality is starting to out. Gerard Losher is on about the Herrera theory. 20 minutes into this video, I spoke about it before the game. Martial hasn't played a breakout game in ages, says John the Pencil Slayer. Look, you can put Martial into the same category as Marcus Rashford in this game. Starved of any play and having to play like a left back. I mean, how is he ever going to get the opportunity to show what he's capable of playing in a game where he's got Carrick and Fellaini as his midfielders? he's just basically playing as a left wing back, much like Lingard is now, which is a shame because Lingard started off the game quite well as well. If you could count Martial and Rashford as strikers, we have 3 strikers and only 1 winger in Lingard, who isn't good enough for United, says Sean 1. I agree. I just think it's ridiculous that we are struggling to sort of we're sort of saying, oh yeah, one more signing and we're okay. We're not. This squad is not okay. Mourinho knows that as well. He's just not getting backed in the transfer window. See, this is Martial now. No, that's Rashford. Right in the corner flag of our half. And now Real Madrid have it back again. We're just blasting it. Ding, 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 ding. Raymer dude's on about Fellaini. Like, you know, I've said my bit on Fellaini for 3 years now. I'm not going to start making out it's good. Lloydie B says his MUTV has just crashed. Anyone else having this problem? And keep up the good work. Thanks for the contribution, Lloydie. Let me have a quick look, because I do have MUTV on my desktop as well, but I'm actually watching it on telly. But let me just see if it's crashed on here.
To our central.
You probably just heard it there. No, mine's working fine. I'm just not watching it. I'm watching it on the telly through Virgin because I have it on my. I pay. So Manchester United actually get 2 subscriptions out of me because I pay to have it on Virgin at 7 something a month, and I pay to have it on my laptop at £5 a month. And people might say, well, why do you do that? Well, if you have it on your laptop, it is about 45 seconds behind what it is on Virgin, so obviously I want to have it as up to date as possible because I'm doing watch alongs. So and people say, why don't you get rid of it off your laptop? Well, I work on my laptop quite a lot, and during the season it's nice to be having the watch along on, or doing a show, or doing a bit of prep work, or doing a bit of work, formal work, and I can listen to like the youth as well. So that's why I have it on my laptop as well. United finally on the attack here. Just give it to Fellaini and you get a give it to Fellaini and he basically passes it you back. I think Carrick's been pretty poor as well. Here we go. Madrid on the break. Phil Jones is back though, don't worry. Good ball by Herrera into Martial. He's got space here. Now this is probably Martial's first chance to run at Real Madrid. Decent cross. Ooh, just not quite. Not quite. Fosu Menza, that's sloppy. Take a touch. Take a touch. And now it's Real Madrid. The game had opened up a bit there. It was, which was interesting. Louise O'Donoghue, just not good enough with Carrick and Fellaini. This is why we need a winger. Ant Walton says, I'm hearing that Neymar's a possibility now. Good defending there from Phil Jones. It was a very good cross that came in from Bale. I'm not hearing anything. Lloydie B, thanks for the contribution. He just says, just got it back on the computers. Though, Mark, I watch it on my computer. Lloydie B. It'd be much easier for me to be able to watch it on the computer, but because we do the watch along, I can't be even further behind. Longton PS, I don't want Matic. He's the same as Fellaini. This is exactly why I don't want Matic, because when you play the better teams, that lack of pace leads to what's happening here. Our attacking players starved of possession, and we just get totally and utterly. Well, you know, we're not losing the game. We didn't lose the game against Man City at the Etihad, but we just end up playing very defensively. Patrick says Phil Jones actually made a great defensive play in front of the goal. He did. It was a very good. They've just shown it back again, Patrick. It was very good. It was a good cross by Bale, and he did really, really good. Hi, Mark, says Dylan Wood Gaming. I'm watching from New Zealand. Hi, mate. It's good to be back doing the watch-alongs, and it's good to be back I know a lot of you probably weren't getting up at 3 a.m. to watch it, so it's good to be back doing the watch-alongs. And it's nice to do it without a co-commentator because I can interact with you a lot more. It is a bit of a challenge. I think Lorenzo is going to join me on for the Barcelona game though, which would be nice. Right, we're in here. Lingard's running at the back four. He's got Rashford. He shoots wide. Ooh, close. Kieran Byrne, have you ever been to a GAR match? I never went. I did used to watch it a bit on the telly and hurling. I just never really understood it, to be honest. It's a bit like that Australian football where they're bouncing it and kicking it. I didn't really understand it. Although I think it's easier to understand than that Australian one. Got no idea how Australian football works. So Lingard just shot wide. Probably our best chance of the game. Olashi Alabi says, Mark, why are you so negative about Matic? Basically just because he's slow. That's basically it. I think he's... Michael Carrick's a great player, but I don't think in the modern game he is. I think his lack of pace really gets exposed. Blast Reaction says, what do you think of Juve? Juventus are my favourite Italian club. I actually really do like Italian football. I sort of got into it in the early 90s when they started showing it on Channel 4. It's a shame what's happened to Serie A over the last few years. It's not been very competitive. I think the reintroduction of money to AC Milan and Inter Milan and then is going to make. I think it will make them the two dominant forces. But hopefully, Juventus are always going to be up there because they are a massive club. So I think it's going to be really. I think Serie A is going to be a lot better over the years to come. But Juve would be my team, yeah. Oh, Phil Jones has done well again there. He got himself caught out. Bit like the was it the Real Salt Lake game? Will Jones says Dyer or Fabinho. I would prefer Dyer because he's been proven in the Premier League. Your thoughts? And I hustled, subbed. Also McGregor or Mayweather. I'm not into all that, but I think Mayweather will knock him out. It's all staged, isn't it? McGregor and Mayweather, all this tour and everything like that. Apparently, they actually get on. James says that Jones is doing well. Jake Lorenz says, "What's your favourite American sport?" I'm going to say this totally off. Growing up, and what games I used to play on my Mega Drive, and I always really liked ice hockey. I've got to be honest. I've never really watched any American sport mainly because. Where would I find the time to do it? I love sports, but I tend to sort of get into sports. I suppose I'm a bit of a fair weather fan when it comes to other sports. Football's my life, and I've always loved football, and I watch loads of football. Obviously, I watch Manchester United the most, but Fellaini just got sent back to Belgium by Matic there. But I do watch things like rugby, but it will tend to be for the Six Nations or the World Cup. Athletics, I watch the Olympics, so I don't really watch American sport, but I'd say ice hockey would be the one that I'd like to watch the most because I used to like playing it on the Mega Drive. So we're approaching half time and it's just died a death, hasn't it? David Carey's made a contribution. Hi Mark, sure Jose can't make the same mistake a second year and play with a one-dimensional slow midfield. If he does, we will be in trouble. Yeah, David, it's he just seems to want to, I understand why he's played certain players today because it's all about giving people fitness. But surely there was a way he could have worked it that he didn't have to play Carrick and Fellaini together. It's I just feel sorry for Martial and Rashford and Herrera and Lingard because I think they're good young players and I think that they could really test this Real Madrid side, but they've just been starved of oxygen and what are they supposed to do? Neil Maxwell says it's funny because if we were buying Kroos, you would be happy as pig in mud, but he's also very slower than Matic. Neil, you obviously weren't watching the show on the preview we were doing an hour before the kickoff. It's not about speed. It's about movement as a footballer. Kroos is Martial. He's done very well. It's a goal! 1-0 to Manchester United. Martial brilliantly down the left. That's what he's in the team for. And Lingard scores. And what a goal. Lingard, well, we'll take that. We'll take that. Lovely. From Martial down the left. Tap in for Lingard. But let's watch it back. He's on the touchline. He's passed 1, 2, 3. Oh, lovely play. Lovely play. Got a little bit of luck on the way through, but it was almost Giggsy-esque the way he cut through them all. Lovely play. Absolutely brilliant. Yes. Get in. Get in. Starved of oxygen our forwards this game, but Lingard's there pointing at Martial, and it was fantastic play by him. Really, really good. I'm very happy now. Murray McCash says, how are you doing tonight? I'm very, very, very happy because Martial has had nothing in this game, and he's produced something out of nothing, which is what you have to do in this side when you're getting starved of any attack. I mean, we've done very, very little because our midfield's been so slow and static. But going back to that point before, it's not necessarily about speed. It's about speed of mind. It's about how quickly, you know, Kroos isn't blessed with amazing pace, but when he's got the ball, he's quick because his passing's quick. His passing range is quick. He'll pass and move quick. He gets into the tackle quick. I'm not talking about Fellaini and Carrick are too slow because they're slow running, which they are. It's the whole package. It's like their movement of the ball is now slow. They don't pass and move. They don't get quick into the tackle. Modric and Kroos are not quick players, but they're quick-minded players. They look like quick players because they're always thinking, they're always moving. Real Madrid have nearly equalised here. In fact, they have. No, they haven't. They're offside. They're offside, don't worry. That was Martial's goal. It wasn't. It was Lingard's tap-in, but it was made by Martial. Absolutely fantastic. Ben Lloyd has made a contribution. He says, missed the goal because my MUTV crashing 10 seconds before. Ben, I think you're not the first person tonight to say that. It appears that there's a problem with MUTV online, which is a shame. Mine's been perfect. I'm not rubbing that in, but I'm on Virgin and it's run fine. But I think there's clearly a problem with the desktop version, which is a shame. Let me just stop the clock, reset it. So we're at half time. Manchester United are leading 1-0. I'm being told by lots of people that I need to do a couple of things, which I'm fully aware of. But let me just, while I'm doing that, because I can multitask, let me just say that Vidic hasn't scored. I need to change that. A summary of the game. Look, let's be honest, Real Madrid are not as sharp as we are. In the first 5 minutes, that was abundantly clear. We pressed them, we did really, really well, and it was a really good, interesting first 5 minutes. I'd say for the next half an hour, Real Madrid gradually got used to the game and got used to the pace of the game, and were the better team. And then, as you could sort of predict, as soon as Real Madrid got up to the pace of the game, they were going to start to take control of the midfield because our midfield was very slow. And when you've got somebody like Carrick and Fellaini playing as two midfielders or as a midfield two, you are going to struggle because the movement of the ball was very slow, the movement of them was very slow, and Real Madrid started to take control. But then right before half time, Fellaini, to be fair, kept going, forced a tackle, got it wide to Martial, who went through 4 Real Madrid players with a little bit of luck on one of them, but it was a great run by Martial, goal out of nothing, crossed it back to Lingard, who tapped it in for a virtual open goal. So United leading 1-0 at half time. The score, the game, will be irrelevant in the future. I'm just happy. As I said before the US tour, it comes back to individual performances, individual confidence, and Jeff Doherty's made a contribution, thank you. He says he's gonna contribute $5 for each Man United goal. I hope we score 5 in the second half. But seriously, yeah, it's about individual performances on tour and whether they can force themselves into Mourinho's plans. Lukaku's done very well on the tour so far. Richard Stein has made a contribution. He says, thoughts, Martial switched to the right wing. I love Martial, says Champan Herbs. So do I. I just think I've changed the scorecard. It's 1-0. I've done the scoreboard. How behind are everybody else? I've done the scoreboard. It says 1-0. We haven't scored another one, have we? The highlight of that half for me was Anthony Martial getting that goal, because absolutely frustrated for him. Frustrated for Rashford, frustrated for Lingard, and frustrated for Herrera. I think they're 4 players who really do want to get at that Real Madrid team, who really want to impress Mourinho and really impress United fans and be part of the United team next year, the first team plans. But when you've got Carrick and Fellaini behind you, if they've got Herrera and Pogba there, they're going to get a lot of quick ball. With Carrick and Fellaini, it's so static. I mean, I saw Fellaini misplace about 10 passes, but even when they give it to Fellaini, you get it straight back. There's no creativity there, and Carrick is just too deep and too slow, and he's on the decline. Those two together just was always going to be a bit of a nightmare. But we're 1-0 up because of a brilliant bit of play by Martial. It will change in the second half, and I think we'll get a more open game in the second half. But I think the one player I probably feel most sorry for was Herrera. The amount of times he had 3 or 4 players on him in the midfield because he's not got the support. If Herrera's there, Herrera gives it to Herrera. Herrera moves forward and he's got a pass. If Pogba's there, Pogba's making movement. He's got Carrick and Fellaini. Carrick just wants to sit, and Fellaini just doesn't move. So Pereira's like getting the ball, getting 3 or 4 players around him. He's done very well at holding the ball up, but he's not got much around him at all. But hopefully Mourinho's aware of that, and hopefully in his mind he's thinking, you know what, I've given him a real baptism of fire today against Real Madrid, against Kroos and Matic. He's got no support around him, and he's had a really good 45 minutes in the midfield. Similarly for Martial and Rashford and Lingard, not getting a lot of the ball because it's not coming through quick enough, but we've produced a goal out of it. So, the swings and roundabouts. Jadaf Machandani has made a contribution. He says, I met Daniel De Rossi today and I've convinced him to sign. I would have liked De Rossi about 3 or 4 years ago. I think he's a little bit old now. Dragon Hunter says, when did Manchester get a goal? Just before half time. And need to see Martial get a fair run of games this season, says Chris J. That will have done him no harm at all. No harm at all. I'm just watching it back again now. Right on the touchline. Cuts past 1, 2, 3, and then the pass back to Lingard. If you're dribbling at people, you're going to need a little bit of luck. And I think halfway through the run, he does get a little bit of luck. But there's not many players. There's nobody in Manchester United's team who can do that at pace. There's not many people in the Premier League who can do it, or in Europe. I'm just watching it back again here just to see. He definitely does. He definitely skins 2, 3, 4. Yeah, lovely little bit of goal. Stephen Minton, good point here. He says Fellaini can break up the play and do a job in a defensive side, or he can be a target man in an emergency. But he's not a midfielder who will create things. We don't need Perisic. We do need Perisic, because you know what? I want Martial to play on the left wing, and Lingard and Mkhitaryan and Mata can do a job on the right wing, but Perisic is a winger. You could have Perisic and Matic. No, don't want Matic. You could have Perisic and Martial playing off each wing. Imagine that. 2 wingers who can actually run at people would be great. But we're up. Look, I predicted United would win this game. Is it a false dawn? No, it's not a false dawn, because I don't think any United fan really thinks that beating Manchester City and Real Madrid and Barcelona means we're going to win the league next year. We did it with Van Gaal. So it's not a false dawn. It's about, if this game ended now, my positive would be Martial's just done great things for his confidence, just like Lukaku did against City, scoring a good goal, just like Rashford has, scoring goals. It's about the individuals. Real Madrid's match sharpness is poor. Real Madrid were probably the better team in that half, but if we win it, we win it. It's good. But Sean Calder, I'm going to have to read this now. Eat your words and admit you've been wrong about Jesse, one of the best on tour. Sean. No, I'm not going to eat my words about Jesse Lingard. I still think he's a squad player at best. I think there was a great comment in the first half by me. No, I said Jesse Lingard has been very good on the US tour. It's almost like he's a lot fitter than everybody else. And then there was the comment that Lingard's got no weight on him anyway. Of course he's fitter than everybody else. Everyone else has a month off. They probably drop out of shape by a few pounds. But Lingard has no weight on him. So he's going to be naturally fit all the time. And I think Lingard looks a lot sharper than everybody else. if Lingard's playing like this in September when we're playing good teams and he's playing as one of the best players in the United team, I'll eat my shoes and say I was wrong. I don't think I will be. I don't think Lingard... I still think we'll have the same problems with Lingard when everybody else is up to his fitness levels. But at the moment, he looks very good because he's a lot fitter than everybody else, a lot sharper. Martial raped Madrid's defence, says that one master. Matic has agreed terms with Juventus, says Daniel James. Don't do that, Daniel. I know exactly what you're doing. You're doing it to winding me up. I'm going to check just because I have to check things like that. But there's no way that's happened. And I'm right. You're just winding me up. Right, let me come back to the live comments. Ben Lloyd's made a contribution. Resorted to watching a different kind of bad, but I'm paying for MUTV. So, okay, he's got his problems with his MUTV. That is a bit of a shame. That is a bit of a shame if you're paying for it and it's not working. Like I say, mine is. But, you know, a lot of people will get MUTV just for the summer. Oh, just while I'm doing this, I'm just going to grab a quick drink. So what I'll do is, this is something that the link is in the video description with Spotto Cash. It's an hour's time, so if you want to have a quick game on it, £2, spot the ball. If you get it right, you win 10 grand. I'm just going to play you the video now while I just quickly pop to the toilet. That would be fantastic, actually. I wish I'd thought about it.
Spotto Cash is a fun-based game of spot the ball with a weekly guaranteed cash prize of £10,000. To win, all you have to do is skillfully place a spot where you think the centre of the ball is on the image. At the end of each week, our expert panel of judges use their skill to determine where they believe the centre of the ball is. If your spot is closest to the judge's position, you win the guaranteed cash prize of £10,000. That's right, you don't even need to get the exact position to win, you just need to be the closest. You can also play for free to challenge your friends for a chance to win the monthly prize for the most skilled player. Start now on your phone, desktop or tablet. Spot the ball, spot the cash. Spotto Cash is a fun-based game.
Oh, God, I'm back. I'm just trying to see what's going on here. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, I chucked that in so I could go for a week, to be honest. But, yeah, that Spotto Cash thing, I do it. If you do sign up for it, make sure you friend me. I think I'm the United stand, and I will play you a game at the head-to-head thing. I really enjoy that. It's like a penalty shootout. You all shoot about where you think the ball is, and whoever gets the closest wins. So that's a good thing. But if you want to have a go at the actual 10,000 thing, they announce the winner weekly at midnight, so you've got 55 minutes to get on that and have a go. The Illuman says sellout. No, not a sellout really. Spot the dog says Steve. Can't beat watching the United game, drinking sweetheart stout and eating curry noodles, says Niall Parker. I feel quite hungry now, but I don't think I'll eat. Jones did have a good half, says Mark Davis. Yes, he did. Ronaldo had a fight with Bale, wants to leave. Hasnan. Oh, I'm not going to believe anything out that. Do you think Lingard is developing under Mourinho, says Neil Maxwell. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, really. It really is hard to tell because I'm not going to read. I'm not looking at any. Any of your transfer news on there because you're obviously trying to wind me up now, so I'm just not looking at any transfer news. Ben Lloyd's just said, decided to super chat all my tips from work because I'm a new subscriber and I already think you deserve it. Oh, Ben, I didn't even know you were a new subscriber, so that is fantastic. You know, we've been doing this for 2.5 years and I just assumed that, you know, obviously it doesn't tell me how long you're there, so I think everybody who's been here a while should welcome Ben, and anybody else who's new tonight, but also be very proud of it, because I know that a lot of people probably don't join the channel because of me. They join it because of the community that we have on the live comments, and if you're not watching live, the comments below, because there's some great stuff that goes on there. It's a fantastic community we have on the United Stand. Live every night at 8:30. Tomorrow night and Thursday night is a Skype show. I go live unscripted, open up Skype Goldbridge is the name, and we take your calls, and you can talk about anything you want. You know, football related, what's annoying you, what you're happy about. You want to talk about Lingard tomorrow night? That might be a good comment to talk about, to be honest. Maybe even Phil Jones. But 8:30 tomorrow night. We're live every night at 8:30, and every morning at 7 o'clock we do the transfer show for you. Sometimes it's not 7 o'clock though. Sometimes it's 7:45, and I do it off my phone on the walk to work, which is why you need to click the subscribe button if you're new, which is the hologram in the bottom right hand corner, and when you have subscribed, make sure that you click the bell, because then you'll get a notification when we go live, and all our content is pretty much live. So if I'm live off my phone, there is no the stream just goes live, so you'll need to either subscribe so you get the notification, or follow us on Twitter, which is at United Stand MUFC, all one word, which is where we post the link. Denizhel Karamich has made a contribution. I hope I got your name right there, actually, because that sounded very right, but could be totally wrong. Do you think we'll see a midfield of Pogba, Herrera, Pereira, Twansibi in the second half, or any time during the tour? I'd love to see it. Could work. It's a good comment. You know what? I'd love to see a midfield of Fosu Mensah, Pereira and Pogba. I'd love to see a midfield of Fosu Mensah, Herrera and Pogba. I'd love to see a midfield of Herrera, Pogba and Pereira. Any combination of those and Twansibi would make me very happy, but he doesn't seem to want to play Fosu Mensah as a midfielder, and I look at him at right back and I think he's not a right back. He'd be a very, very good midfielder, but he doesn't seem to want to do it. Patrick's had a pizza and drank a beer. Mohammed Pandor says, I watch it and I'm subscribed because I like your take on United's news, and I've been subscribed for a year or so. Thanks, pal. And Lukaku's coming on, says Cameron Joseph. And Mark, I think we should sign Aurier. Doing so would free up Valencia to play right wing, and Fosu Mensah could play CDM when needed. That's from Ian Hull. And Jack, oh god, everybody feels sorry for Jack. He thought it started at 11. And Kwame says, welcome to all new subscribers. It's a family here, and I'm the dad. Apologise for my first son Mark. He can't seem to stop talking for my other son Chair, who is usually very quiet. I tell you what, the Chair is a bit of a cult hero on the United Stand. So he's not been on for a while, so let's give him a moment. A moment for the Chair. There you go. Second half's about to kick off. This is always challenging because we don't know what the changes could be. Infinite. Reaper says, do you think Lingard will become a good player? I don't know. I don't really think he will. He's mid-20s, and I don't think he'll become any better than he is. And I think, to be honest, I don't think any team in the Premier League top 6 would have him anywhere near the starting lineup. But as a squad player, he's very good. And as I said last night, he's very well liked in the squad. So I know people found that as an odd comment from me, but morale is very important, and I think there's a good squad morale at United at the moment, and Mourinho certainly does build that. So Daley Blind's coming on, Chris Smalling's coming on. Fellaini's still on, De Gea's on, Lindelof is on, Darmian's on, Mkhitaryan's on, Herrera's on, Martial's still on. So I think we've probably taken a lot of the lads off that we probably wanted to see still on. I bet Pereira's gone off. I'd be gutted about that, to be honest, but there you go. Lukaku is on. Smalling. Fellaini stays on. Herrera's on. No Pogba. This is the problem with the second half. Real Madrid will make a lot of subs as well. So I think Pereira's off, isn't he? I'm going to need your help on the live comments now. It really is a case of, if you can give us any information about how many changes Real Madrid have made for one, that would be fantastic. I'm pretty sure that we've changed most of our team, apart from Martial and Fellaini. I think everybody else is off. It's Herrera, Pogba, Fellaini midfield. It's Lukaku up front. It's Martial on the left, and it is Mkhitaryan on the right, and then Lindelof and Smalling as centre backs, I think. Or Lindelof might be right back. Ronaldo's not playing Hallam. He's not even part of the squad. Pereira is off. Madrid are a whole new lineup. Chris Smalling and Lindelof are centre backs. Daley Blind's left back, and I think Darmian's survived and gone to right back, hasn't he? So Blind is left back. He's not a centre defensive midfielder. Herrera, Pogba, Fellaini midfield. Mkhitaryan on the right. Martial on the left. Lukaku up front. Darmian right back. Blind left back. De Gea's obviously come on in goal. Smalling and Lindelof. So it's a whole new team, apart from Darmian, who's moved from left back to right back. Fellaini, who's survived as per usual, and then Martial stayed on the left, which is good. I do feel sorry for Pereira. I think Pereira had a real hard first half, and because of this clown Fellaini, who just manages to stay on the bloody pitch again. I just don't understand why he always stays on after an atrocious half. I would have loved to have seen Herrera, Pogba and Pereira as a midfield three, but we get inflicted of watching Fellaini again. Oh, not done the timer. That's a good point. Yeah, that we get that set up. Okay, 2 minutes into the second half. We've gone over 2,000 likes as well, which is fantastic. Thanks everybody for that. Really good. See the midfield though. I mean, I don't know whether I'm sure you know about your football. Actually, I don't know why I was saying that, but straight away we're already pressing them into their half, and the ball movement in the midfield is a lot quicker because you've got Herrera and Pogba there. Martial, good little 1-2 there with Lukaku. Feed him. Oh, too clever for Pogba that was. Oh, Blind. Cool Guy says that Fellaini's still playing because he only played 30 minutes last time. Yeah, Pereira only played 25 minutes last time. My point is, why? James Warren, do you think we should play Mickey at CAM? Yes, I do. I think he's wasted out on the right, but in this sort of formation, we don't play with a number 10, do we? We plays with three midfielders, so it doesn't suit Mkhitaryan, and he has to play out on the right. Oh, here we go. Dan Theo with a popular opinion. He says, can you stop talking trash about Fellaini? If the coach trusts him, why not respect that? Dan, that's not how life works, mate. That's not how life works, Dan. You don't just sit back and accept something because a manager or your boss tells you to. I mean, Mourinho is a manager that, for me, is the right man for Manchester United, and I back him, but he's not without mistakes. He's not infallible. He's a human being. He's made lots of mistakes through his career. And I think, last season, Fosu Mensah played 20 minutes in the Premier League before the last game of the season. Bringing Fellaini on against Everton, and we lost 3 points. Playing Fellaini in a lot of games, mistakes. So No, I'm not one of those people, and I would urge everybody, never ever in life, whether it's football, your life, your family, or whatever, don't be one of those people who just sits back and takes somebody's decision because you think they're better than you think they're better than you. Think with your own mind. I think Fellaini in a United shirt is an embarrassment, and I always have done. Michael Franklin, do you think Blind will be good in the midfield? I think it's the biggest myth out there with William Carvalho coming to Manchester United. It happens, it gets mentioned a hell of a lot. I don't think Daley Blind's a good centre defensive midfielder, no. For two reasons. One, he's very slow, again. And I'd be a hypocrite to say I want Blind there when I don't want Fellaini and Carrick or Matic there. And two, for a midfielder, he'd be a nightmare because he's one-dimensional. He's so one-sided. He's so left-sided that he's got no right foot, and you need that balance if you're going to play as a CDM. He did get played there at the start by Van Gaal, and he scored a good goal against West Brom, but even Van Gaal didn't put up with him there for long. Josh, I've just answered that question about Blind. Flipper03 says, thanks for doing this, Mark. We do it every game, mate. If you're new to the United Stand, we do it every game. We have a watch-along for every Manchester United game. And as you can see, I was about to say, even friendlies. Well, you've seen that. Herrera's took a bang to the hip, actually. That's one player we can't do. We get an injury to one of our good players and we're in trouble. Bit of a chat between the ref and Mourinho here. I don't know about what. So Herrera's gone off. It was a bit higher than the hip, actually. I'd be worried he might have broken a rib. So McTominay's come on, who, to be honest with you, I got a lot of stick for this. But remember, this is the United Stand. It's about fan opinion. It's not the Mark Goldbridge channel. I don't think McTominay will amount to anything in a Manchester United shirt. I think he's just there because we haven't signed the players that Mourinho wants to sign. And I think, again, he's another slow player and a tall player, which is probably like why Mourinho's took him. But I don't really rate him at all. But hopefully the lad can prove me wrong. He's very tall. Let me have a look. Scott McTominay. 6'4", and you wonder why. You wonder why Mourinho picks him. He's 6'4". Mendy's due for a medical with Man City. I'd love to have signed him. Rick Tapio says McTominay makes our midfield dull. I bet Mourinho, I bet he dreams about this. He's got Fellaini and McTominay and Pogba, all very tall. Unfortunately, Pogba's the only one who's got footballing ability and pace. Gerard says, I back Mourinho 100%, but Matic is simply too slow. That's pretty much how most fans feel, Gerard. I back Mourinho. I just don't. I'm not inspired by Matic. I don't think Matic is a bad player, as I've said so many times, and I think we could have quite a good season with him. But ultimately, you're going to come up against teams like Man City, and we're just going to have to defend because we won't have quick enough players. I mean, at the moment, we're doing nothing. To be honest, I'm not happy Herrera's injured, but I think it's quite interesting because it's already become the half it was in the first half. When we had Herrera and Pogba on the pitch, I thought, we're going to make a lot of things happen. Herrera's gone off, so now Pogba's going to suffer with the problem that Pereira had, where he's got two static, slow midfielders in McTominay and Fellaini. And I bet we won't be able to really do anything about it. Still don't know who's playing for Real Madrid in this second half. If anybody does, answers on a postcard. I'm going to try and find out because the Real Madrid Twitter feed is normally quite good. Let me have a look. No, it's not that good. Because they haven't even put up who's playing in the second half. They're playing Man City. Real Madrid on Wednesday when we're playing Barcelona. So yeah, I've got no idea who's playing for Real Madrid in this second half. I'd love to know, but I don't. Casemiro's playing, isn't he? Second half. Forget it. Forget it. I don't know. And I don't really know where I could find out. Cameron Smith says this is proof we still need at least 3 players, a left back, a centre defensive midfielder and a right winger. We could have also done with Chicharito. I think, you know, I would have took Chicharito back at Manchester United, but I think we need to remember about that is that he probably wants to play first team football and we would want him as a backup striker. And, you know, at that stage of his career, were we in for him? Probably not. But West Ham's going to offer him first team football. We weren't. So Ben Lloyd's made a contribution. I've got to ask the question we're all thinking, where's the Bud Light? I was a bit fed up with it, to be honest, Ben. I just didn't contemplate having a drink. I haven't got a drink. You know, a few people over the years have been doing the United Stand have said you've got a drink problem. What they don't realise is that for the rest of my day, I'm at work, I'm doing all sorts of stuff. When I sit down and do the United Stand, I probably open my first can of the day and have a beer whilst relaxing with you lot. And then I don't open another one when we finish. So, but I don't always have a drink either. So tonight I'm not having a drink. I'm a bit disappointed that Twansibi could have come on and played where Fellaini is. I hope he gets a bit of time. Danish Shastri's made a contribution. He says, Mark, usually I agree with you about everything, but Lingard is much more than a Premiership player. He's capable of being absolute class. Whew. Danish, that's one hell of a prediction. Thanks for the comment. Arvid said, is MUTV down for you guys? I think there is problems with MUTV, which is disappointing. Because the one time that needs to be up and working is when Manchester United are actually playing. But mine's fine, but I'm watching it through my TV stream, which is Virgin Media. I could check for you to see if it's okay, because I have actually got it on my desktop as well. It's down. It is down. So it's down on my laptop, but it's up on my TV screen. So that is disappointing, isn't it? Do they care? They should do. X-Pool says, have a beer, who cares? Oh no, I would have one if I wanted one. I don't really feel like it tonight. I feel a bit tired and just having a beer when I'm going to have to get up for work. And oh, Fellaini. Fellaini's gone down as if he's been injured and he hasn't. He isn't. And then McTominay makes a foul. Oh God, it's free kick for Real Madrid on the edge of the box. Into the wall. I mean, let's be honest though, you know, I get a lot of criticism for moaning about wanting to sign, moaning about us maybe signing Matic and moaning about Fellaini and all that, but let's be serious for a moment. This midfield, in the first half it was boring, and then in the second half, again, it's just little 5-yard passes between tall players who've got no creativity, no movement. They're just physical specimens. They're just, they're battering rams. And you've got, I didn't even know Lukaku's been playing, and we're 15 minutes into the second half, and we've done nothing with Mkhitaryan or Lukaku, and Martial actually stayed on, and we've not seen anything of them. And this is the problem this is what happened last season. Our midfield was so static and slow because we kept playing Fellaini, and we didn't create many chances, and we just grinded out results. And for the second half against Man City was like it, and the whole game's been like it today virtually. Just poor midfield. I mean, Fellaini's just lost it there. It's slow. It's not interesting. He nearly got megged, but he's won it back. But it's just, even when we win it back, it's a back pass or a 5-yard pass. There's just no creativity. I just don't understand why Mourinho sort of asks that of Manchester United. People say he must be aware of it. Well, he's watching the same game. He must be asking for it. Stephen Bauer, Fellaini's losing the ball constantly, which he is. We've got a free kick in the third here. Dalen Mayshaw says he's at the game and the atmosphere's magic, which is great. Ankit Sharma says, call me sick but wish for a long-term Fellaini injury. I wouldn't wish injury on anybody, Ankit, but I sort of see where you're coming from. That he's nearly got a chance there on the back post. Yeah, I wouldn't wish injury on anybody, but I'm trying to think of something that could happen that would stop him from playing that's not an injury. Maybe could get lost in a cupboard or something. Jack Brown says, what are your thoughts on Twansibi and Mitchell not being given a fair chance? Well, I'm hoping that they might come on now with sort of half an hour, 20 minutes left. Just take Fellaini off and bring Twansibi on. Steve Buckley, United will not win the league. Pogboom says Real Madrid are nothing without Ronaldo. Well, I don't recognise many of these Real Madrid players in the second half, to be honest with you. And let's be fair to Real Madrid, they are not. They're playing United, who are match sharp. What's the point of Fellaini being tall if his headers aren't even on target, says Kemio Roberts. Yeah, it's a myth about Fellaini. He wins headers because of his height, but he's actually not very good in the air. And when I say not very good in the air, he's not actually good in the way that he directs his headers. He wins headers, and that is useful, but he's a far better defensive header than he is in the attacking header, because his control of the ball when he heads it is pretty much, he can head it, but he doesn't get much power or direction on it. He's a defensive header. He's not really an attacking headerer. Is it? I think the kickoff for the Barcelona game. Somebody just asked. I'm sure it's midnight. I'm sure. I'll check. I'm sure it is. And then we're playing Sampdoria a week on Wednesday in Dublin, but we've also got a game a week tonight in Norway against Vålerenga, which, to be honest with you, it's a pre-season game, but it's not. We're not playing a team of quality, are we? Same with Sampdoria. They're not very good either. But it's been a bit of a waste of time for the likes of Martial to stay on the pitch in this half, because there's absolutely nothing to do at all. Yeah, midnight we play Barcelona. I thought I saw that. I thought I did. 63 minutes gone. I hate to say it. Let's see if we've got much interaction. I'd get Fellaini and Darmian off and get Mitchell and Twansibi on, to be honest. I mean, why the hell not? Why the hell not? To be fair to McTominay, he actually does move the ball a little bit better than Fellaini does. I mean, he's quite limited in his passing range, but he's got about 2, whereas Fellaini's is basically a simple 5-yard pass, and anything above that is in trouble. McTominay can actually do up to about 7 yards, so he's slightly better. But I mean, a 6'4" midfielder. I think Matic is that though. Thing is though, I mean, I don't like tall players anyway. I like Zlatan, but unless you're actually going to be good at crossing, which we're not, you may as well have a team full of cultured 5'6" players, because Mourinho has this obsession with height, yet we're one of the worst teams in the league at scoring corners and crosses. So it's a bit of it's useful it works for the defensive side of our game. Yet again, like under Van Gaal, we focused on defence when we're Manchester United. We should be looking at attack. It is a boring game, Big D. I did say I said there wasn't going to be many goals in it, and the reason I said that is I thought our midfield would be boring and slow and static, and to be honest, been proved right. Ben's struggling to get on MUTV. I think there's been problems, Ben, to be honest. Martial's in down the left now. We might get a bit of excitement. That looked like a handball to me, but it's a corner. It's a corner. Tony says, would you swap Dembele for Martial? Look, I said this before. Inter Milan will give us Perisic if we give them Martial. Today they're saying that Paris Saint-Germain would give us Verratti if Martial was part of the deal. There seems to be a common occurrence that some Manchester United fans don't get. Martial is highly regarded by a lot of people in Europe, and he's highly regarded by a lot of Manchester United fans. I wouldn't swap Martial for anybody. I really like Anthony Martial. I just don't think he gets the chances that he needs. I think he gets put into silly situations, to be honest. I mean, this second half, you wouldn't even know Lukaku was playing. Starved of oxygen again because our midfield is rubbish and slow. Pogba's looks rubbish again because he's got nobody with him. It's like Herrera in the first half. He hasn't got any footballers with him in the midfield, so he's got to try and do it all on his own. Chris Ollie, midfield is lacking creativity. I mean, I didn't even know Mkhitaryan was playing either. But this is the thing, when you've got a football brain, like all you lot have, I've not seen one comment saying Martial's crap, or Lukaku's rubbish, or Mkhitaryan's rubbish, or Pogba's rubbish, because we all know they're not rubbish because they haven't had the ball to be rubbish. Oh, penalty. Lindelof, that's absolutely nailed on. He's going to get a lot of stick. He's not having a good tour, folks. So penalty to Real Madrid. It's Casemiro who's going to take it against De Gea. De Gea would love to save this one. He doesn't. It's 1-1. It was a nailed on penalty. I mean, it was so late. If he was... Yeah, it's just there are nailed on penalties and there are nailed on penalties, and that was a nailed on penalty, unfortunately. And a lot of people will be on Lindelof's case. He's not had a great tour. I've just tweeted it out. He really hasn't had a very good tour, but he's a new player at Manchester United, and we need to stand by him. And if somebody comes back with why don't you stand by Fellaini, we've had 3 years of Fellaini, we've had three pre-season games of Lindelof. It's a bit different. But my score prediction was 2-1, so maybe we'll win 2-1. As KJ Godham says, it's a pre-season game, FFS. Stand by him. Lindelof just needs time to settle in, says Stephen Minton. Yeah, he's not been very good on the tour, but it's pre-season games. Doesn't really matter. Oh, McTominay's in. Oh, if he had any pace, he would have been in. He was so fast, he was running backwards. Ice Cake Coca says, as much as I don't like Fellaini, the structure of our team surely needs someone like him. That is why we're also going for Matic, Mata, Mickey, Herrera, Pereira, all good players but equally short. I don't want players just because they're tall though. Nigel VC, good point. He says we've got no chance with a midfield of this quality. It's worrying. Well, it's not worrying. It just goes to show that if we play the way that we did last season, then you can have Lukaku who's got lots of goals in him, but if we don't create any chances, then we're not going to score. There's another late tackle there. That was by Smalling. He's given a goal kick. To be honest with you, we look really rusty now, don't we? He was late. He was late, Smalling there. Mark, do you think Mourinho is keeping Fellaini because he gives players motivation, like Lingard? Don't know. We're getting murdered in the midfield, says Nigel McMorrow. Spot on. Roma Dude says, Mark, I wonder why Mourinho does not like Fabinho. I'd like to have him in our squad. Look, if we were to sign Matic tomorrow, I would look at this performance today and say, well, stick Matic into this team today. What difference does it make? Seriously, what difference does it make if you put Matic into that lineup instead of Fabinho? Sorry, instead of Fellaini. It doesn't really improve us, does it? It's another player who's not very mobile but is quite quick. He can pass the ball better, but I still can't understand why Twansibi's not come on. I'd be really disappointed if I was him. Why is Twansibi not on? Why didn't he bring Twansibi on instead of McTominay? That surprises me as well. And answers on a postcard for that? Because he's not 6'4"? Ross Chambers says, what are your thoughts on Martial's future? Well, you can't judge him on the second half because he's not had any of the ball. Same as Mkhitaryan, same as Lukaku. And if it wasn't for Martial, we wouldn't have a goal because he created something out of absolutely nothing. The first half wasn't much better than this. It's only pre-season is what everybody will say, but the warning signs are there in relation to the setup. I mean, the formation again. We saw a really good formation against LA Galaxy, 3-5-2. And gradually we've moulded back to the formation that we used last season, which is the formation I think we'll use this season. This 4-3-3. Which doesn't suit Mkhitaryan because he has to play out wide. Which doesn't suit playing Fellaini because it's too slow. At least if you play 3-5-2, you can get Mkhitaryan in as a number 10. You can put Martial as a support striker or Rashford as a support striker. You can use Valencia as a wing back to provide the width. You get lots of numbers in the midfield. I think I've just seen Fellaini play the best pass of his career there. It actually was about 15 metres. Does this go to penalties? Somebody just said. God, I hope not. I hope not. Hopefully we're making a substitution. Willock, that's not Willock, it's Valencia coming on. And it's the drinks break. Few observations from the game, says Ben Fulford. Oh, I look forward to this. He says Pogba plays too deep due to a lack of creativity. We need a proper left back, position and defence, and Fellaini is awful. Mickey is left alone on the wing. And Sally Devil Red Mitchell says, why is it the fans can see the blatant flaws in our midfield and Jose can't? We're still being linked with Fellaini without a wig, Matic, which is painful. And Clive Kennedy's made a contribution. He says, Mata not in the new plans. I'd rather have him as a CDM. Mata's injured at the moment. They're just showing little clips of Matic just sent Fellaini back to Belgium. They're showing clips from the first half. So it will be penalties. There has to be a winner, says Indosaurus 1. Drinks break at the moment. Julia Roberts there. She's a pretty woman. Valencia's come on. I would presume he's come on for Darmian. Yes, he has, because Darmian. So Fellaini, as I just tweeted out, it's almost bordering on torture that he's keeping Fellaini on for this whole game. You know, none of us really want him on the pitch, and he is the one player that has stayed on for the whole game. It is sickening. Mark Davis says we should have got Manolas. Well, Manolas is the centre-back I've been on about for Manchester United for the last 2 years. I would have liked Manolas. Lindelof wasn't even in. Lindelof was in my top 5 back in January that I thought we would sign, but I think he came in at 4. I'm not turning on Lindelof anyway. It's way too early, and Mourinho's got a very, very good record with centre-backs, but I must admit that Lindelof... he just doesn't look right at the moment. Smalling's just let the ball go under his foot. I'll be surprised if Smalling survives, actually. Although Phil Jones has been linked with a move away. We've got to sell one of them. Oh, tired now. That's what happens when you've been watching Fellaini and McTominay. Fellaini trying to run away from somebody. Oh, Daily Blind did well there. Andy MT says Julia Roberts would be more... Oh, Pogba's in. No, he's not. Julie Roberts would be more lively in our midfield. It'd be a better watch. Mkhitaryan trying to shoot there. I hope somebody wins it in the last 10 minutes, because to be honest with you, although it'd be nice if if we won it on. I mean, it's not. It's irrelevant if we win or not. But it'd be funny if we did. Real Madrid wouldn't lose any sleep, but it would be good if we win a penalty shootout because of De Gea. Aish13 is watching this at 4 a.m. Well, if it had been a 3 o'clock kickoff like last week, we'd have been all watching it at 4 a.m. So yeah, it's punishment, isn't it? Francis Fifi Ada Twam says Tomini and Fellaini are crab in that midfield. I don't know whether you were trying to say crap and you misspelled it, or crab in the fact that they go side to side, because you're right on both points, to be honest. Ben Lloyd, MUTV's back up now if you're watching on your desktop. Jack Brown says, Mark, I think we'll sell Smalling in January and Rojo returns. Thoughts? Yeah, I suppose so, because we're probably going to use Daley Blind as a left back, aren't we? And that would leave 4 centre backs: Lindelof, Bailly, Jones and Smalling. Although Twansibi, but you know, Twansibi's not even being used in pre-season games, so I think Twansibi will probably be this season's Fosu Mensah and not get used at all. I think, you know what, Twansibi needs to go on loan. If Mourinho's not going to use him, he needs to go on loan. Fosu Mensah needs to go on loan if he's not going to get used, and Herrera needs to go on loan if he's not going to get used, but to a Premier League club. Now I think all 3 of them should get used, but I'm not the manager. We're not the manager. Mourinho is, and you know, what he should have done in this second half is took Fellaini off and put Fosu Mensah into the midfield, or kept Herrera on, or put Twansibi in the midfield. But it's too obvious, isn't it? I mean, Pogba's playing way too deep in this game, but realistically, Pogba's a bit like Herrera in the first half. He's got 4 players around him and he loses the ball. There's 9 minutes left. This is Real Madrid reserves though, isn't it? I don't really recognise any of them. Few people say, Kieran's saying that MUTV's not back up and Lindelof is a flop, as Mark says. I haven't said Lindelof's a flop. Blazer 2K17, that's slanderous. I haven't said Lindelof is a flop at all. I've said quite the contrary. We need tempo, says Miku765. Spot on. Casemiro scored the penalty for Madrid, whoever just asked. Yeah, sorry, I don't normally put the scorer in for the opposition unless I can be bothered. But you know, it's a United fan channel, I can't. Martial did well there to free Pogba, but can't beat Real Madrid's B team. Right, Valencia's got it now down the right. Look at that pace and power. Still loses it. Carl Carr says, why is Pogba playing so deep? Oh my god. Please somebody send me that gif of Fellaini. Please somebody do a gif of that miss by Fellaini. If you missed that, that was worth staying up for the whole night. That Fellaini miss was just sums up his absolute performance. I mean, unmarked on the 6-yard box. I tell you what, I could have buried. If you gave me that cross, I could probably score it with both feet, both knees, my head, my chest, my arse. And he can't even do it with his strong foot. I mean, absolutely rubbish. It made me laugh. You know, it's probably made my evening, that Fellaini. I'd give him man of the match for that miss, to be honest. Absolutely brilliant. Sums up his performance and what he means to me in a Manchester United shirt. But don't worry. Well, you know, I guarantee you, he'll score a goal in a semi-final after playing rubbish for the rest of the season, and everyone will love him again. VK Dean says we need another energetic midfielder. We do. Basically, you've got to play Herrera and Pogba with somebody like Nainggolan, Fabinho, Kante, Wanyama. You know, that sort of player. Fosu Mensah. Pereira. That's the sort of midfield three we need. None of this lanky, slow, physical nonsense. It was a McTominay pass. Yes, it was. It was a good cross from him, actually. He's just moved up in the pecking order. McTominay's just moved up in the pecking order ahead of Fellaini. The sentence that just every Manchester United fan is thinking right now: why is Fellaini still a United player? Says Kenneth Fakima. Yes, there are no words. There are no words. I'm hoping that somebody will tag me into that, because it must be out there. It must be out there. So 4 minutes of this to go. Unless Real Madrid win it, we'll be going to penalties. Oh, thanks to Nathan Briggs. He actually sent me the whole list of players who are playing for Real Madrid in the second half, of which I know Casemiro, Hakima, Kovacic. I know Kovacic actually because we were linked to him. Gomez, Tajero, Hernando, Cazida, Arnes Oscar, Fulizia, Hernandez, who they bought from Atletico Madrid. There's a corner here for Real Madrid. They've not done anything with it. Well, a penalty shootout at least gives us some entertainment, doesn't it? We deserve something. It's alright, I'm just... I think, like all of us, we're just having a look around for that Fellaini miss because it's hilarious. There's a good one from joe.co.uk as well of Fellaini and... So it's all Real Madrid at the moment. But I think it will probably be a penalty shootout. Because in fairness, apart from the penalty, Real Madrid haven't really created that much, have they? Oh dear, dear. So, I mean, to be honest with you, if this was a normal game, I think it would be meltdown, wouldn't it? Because, I mean, Fellaini's been awful. Twansibi's not even got on, even though Mourinho said he was going to play him and Mitchell. They've not even had a minute. The midfield's been virtually I don't take any great joy in predicting that there wouldn't be many goals in this game because we wouldn't create many chances with that midfield. But to mirror that midfield in the second half with another 2 slow midfielders is just appalling. And I hope. I mean, let's be honest. From January to May, the football was pretty much like this. Very workmanlike and grafting, but not a lot of entertainment. And I hope that that's not an insight into what's going to happen for the rest of the season. But who knows? Who knows? For those who want penalties, you're going to get your way because there's only 3 minutes left. Americans are getting very excited, I think. They like the drama of a penalty shootout. Well, we all do. We all like a penalty shootout. Especially when it doesn't mean anything. I hate penalties when it means anything. So it's there is that positive that it's just we can just sit back and enjoy it and hope that Dave saves and Fellaini scores. If he dares to take one. I mean, I can't imagine his technique is that good. So we're just waiting for penalties, folks. I found the Fellaini clip. That's what I was just sorting out. So I found the Fellaini clip, and I basically said Ronald McDonald would score this, and I don't know whether was it not there. Maybe I've not done it on the United Stand. I might have done it on mine. Oh no, it's done very well. So it's up on mine. Ronald McDonald would have buried Fellaini. What on earth? Oh no, I messed that up. Sorry. And Darren Richards just sent me the Fellaini miss as well. I've had a few people sending it, so thanks to that. So penalties. It's penalties. I think we've only got about 10 seconds left as Pogba runs into the box, and he's blown up. So we play with our first 11 and can't win against Real Madrid's bench. Yeah, that's a good point from Daniel, because apparently Mourinho said this is his strongest 11. Well, if that's his strongest 11, that was an embarrassment, Jose. It was an absolute embarrassment. The second half was way worse than the first half, which wasn't much better either. Stay close to me. Don't sing Take That. Don't sing that. So penalties, referees. Mourinho's giving referees high fives. just waiting to see who's going to take the penalties, and then we'll let you know. I really want Fellaini to take a penalty. I don't know about you lot. I really, really, really want him to take a penalty. It will make my night if he goes and puts it in the top corner. He says with a hint of sarcasm. He's already made my night with that miss, so if he can do it again, that'd be great. Just showing talking about penalties, they're just showing the Lindelof one again, which I think we could all agree was an absolute stoner. It was so late, it was last week. Casemiro takes a good penalty. You've got to be honest, he does take a good penalty, that Casemiro. I've always said it. He takes a good penalty. Well, we're going to get, we've all stayed up a little bit later than probably we normally would on a Sunday, let's be honest. So let's see what happens with the penalties. We've got a Liverpool fan on here. Can't wait till Liverpool score United. But you're watching a Manchester United fan channel at midnight, mate. Get a life. JMJ Gaming says if Martial missed that chance that Fellaini did, he'd be sold this summer, which is probably true. Samuel R says chill out on Lindelof. I've got no problems with Lindelof. I'm really not. It's early days. It's early days for Lindelof, and he's a new player. He's not somebody who's been here for 3-4 years and been consistently poor. He's a new player. He's clearly off the pace, and he needs our backing. It was a poor challenge, and I don't think he's had a very good US tour so far, but. Look what Mourinho did with Jones and Rojo last year, and Lindelof has got a good pedigree, so stick with him. Stick with him. It is going to penalties, yeah. I'll have my match reaction after this, which is going to be it's going to be a must watch, that's for sure. But at the moment, we've got penalties. Penalty shootout. So it is. Have we had anybody who's taken the bloody penalties yet? Mark, I think I'm going to the United versus Barcelona game on Wednesday in DC. Jordan, I hope they entertain you more than this. The first thing you need to look at on that team, on that starting lineup, Jordan, is who's playing in the midfield three. If it's any of these two, if he plays Fellaini, Carrick, Fellaini, McTominay, Carrick, you're in for a bad night. But Fellaini's played 90 minutes tonight, so maybe you might not even get to see him play at all, which is great unless you're a big Fellaini fan. United are rubbish, says David Fleming. I can't believe how boring they are. They'll get nowhere near Chelsea, Spurs and Manchester City this season. Mkhitaryan looks like he's taking a penalty. I'll tell you what, I bet Fellaini disappears into the background. Pogba's taking a penalty. McTominay, I think he might take a penalty. Anthony Martial's going up first. May as well tweet them out. Over the bar. wasn't very good. It was way over the bar. It'll be sold now. Don't know who this is because it's the Real Madrid B team. Up he steps. Dave saves. Dave saves. Still 0-0. It's a good save by De Gea. He doesn't know. He's not normally that good at penalties, is he? It's an easy save for him. But Dave saves. Still 0-0. McTominay. Go on, lad. Prove me wrong and score a penalty. Here he comes. His shorts are a bit tucked in. He'll get, you know, he's got sun cream on them legs. He looks a bit of one of those fair-skinned lot. Misses. Still 0-0 in the penalties. Where's the dash? What are we saying in the live comments? I'm done. Right, Dave, can you score again? I'm updating on Twitter as well. Oh, he does! 2 saves. This is great. No one's scored a penalty yet. I think this is a good save. That's a good save. That's a great save by De Gea with that one. Sort of up and over like that. Mkhitaryan. Come on, he'll put it away. He's Mr. Experience, Mkhitaryan. Yeah, bottom corner, slides it home. Right, come on, Dave's going for the hat-trick. That's a good penalty by Mkhitaryan. Bottom corner. Yeah, I think we win a trophy for this. Here, hat-trick. Dave's going for a hat-trick. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Oh! I thought he'd saved it. He got a hand on it. Two to go. 2 penalties each. Everyone's echoed each other so far. Oh, I tell you what. It's bottom of his hand. So Darmian's taken it. No, Lindelof's taken a penalty. Oh, God. You know what's going to happen here. Gives a penalty away. Misses a penalty. And he's just going to get a load of stick. I'm sticking by Lindelof, by the way. No matter what happens, I'm sticking by him. Oh. This is not good for his confidence. Straight at the keeper as well. It was the worst penalty of the lot. So that was number 4. No, we'll still get to take our last penalty. That was a bad penalty. It was a bad penalty. Come on, Dave. It's still a hat-trick if he scores, isn't it? If he saves anyway. Ah, misses. Madrid miss. So it's still 1-1. It's torturous how bad everybody's been, but it's still 1-1. And Daley Blind. So that means that Fellaini and Pogba didn't fancy a penalty. God. Or Lukaku. That's a bit worrying. I mean, it's only a pre-season game, but that's a little bit worrying. Blind down the middle, scores. Come on, Dave, for the hat-trick. This to win it, if De Gea saves it. It's Casemiro. Oh, he's good. See, Casemiro, their best penalty taker, waits till the end to step up. No Pogba, no Lukaku, no Fellaini for us. I hope Real Madrid score, because then one of them bottlers can actually come forward and take one. Hey, we've won. Real Madrid miss, and we win. We win on penalties. Get that away. So are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy, Manchester United fans? We've just won on penalties. Probably one of the worst penalty shootouts I've ever watched, but we have won, and we should be very, very proud of Manchester United for that performance and penalty win against Real Madrid B team on penalties. Yeah, no, lots and lots to talk about. I will pick up on the Lindelof stuff, of course. Of course, it's worth mentioning, but it's not something that I think we should go to town on him about. I think at the end of the day, look. I'll tell you what, I've got a lot of things I want to say. I'm going to do it on my match reaction show, which is, if you click the United Stand button, it's on the homepage. It's called Manchester United 1-1, Lingard scores and United win on penalties. Lots I want to say about United, first and second half. Lots I want to say about certain players. Lots I want to say. Join me for the match reaction. We've been live on this stream for a long time, and I have to do the match reaction separately, so it's a separate video. I'll be over there in about 60 seconds time, so click the United Stand, go to the home page, you'll see the stream, and I'll see you there in about 60 seconds, because I'm going to unload. I think there are things that need to be said. I've read a lot of your comments, and there are things that need to be said. I'll see you over there in a minute.